Come be a part of
Jake, you want to do society,
where Hebrew feels like home. Come be a part of
Jake, you want to do society,
where Hebrew feels like home. Come be a part of
Jake, you want to do society,
The great commandment of Jah,
where Hebrew feels like home.
through the inspirations of His Imperial Majesty, Selassie Farai.
Alright, and then Jake, you want to do society,
where Hebrew feels like home. be a part of. Come be a part
All
of.
right, Jake, Wine and Juice Society.
Where Hebrew feels like home.
Reb Tov, greetings, brothers and sisters. Hopefully the Einem had a good Shabbat, first day. Here, second day of the Shavua here for the Midrash Monday, the Monday podcast right here. Here we have the 20th sabbatical study for the Shabbat Strong, Tetzaweh. Some enunciate as Tetzaveh, Afro-Shemitically pointed Tetzaweh. Thou shalt command. Here. This 20th sabbatical study for the Shabbat Strong. Here, the second day of the Shavua. Shavua Tov, second day of the Strong, second day of the week, right here. Also, the daily psalm was 121. Interesting daily psalm right here, 121, lifting up the eyes to the hills, from whence cometh thine help.
290. Only going to do a few more calls, get back to the music, and make room for Sounds of China.
Morning, WKCR.
Greetings.
Yes, sir.
In the name of the Most High, our Lord and Savior, the mightiest of them all, Jah.
Rastafari.
I, yes. I want to say greetings to Vincent and greetings DJ Vince. And greetings to my brethren Rambo. We're rough out every time. Yeah, and all of them greetings, yeah, I come from Rough Commandos.
Yes, I.
But I want to let out something from the Bible. Yeah. John say, if I had not been with the Lord who was on our side, no man, Israel say, if I had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rise up against us, then they had swallowed up us quick. When there was wrath was kicking up against us, then the water had overwhelmed us. The stream had gone over our soul. The Rastafari liveth and reigning at the heart of I and I. Last year.
Yes, I.
Yeah.
Rastafari.
And give thanks.
Yes. Rough commander right there of the psalm. For verse from the psalm right there. Here, the evening psalm, rise up to chant. Here we have Psalm 48, evening psalm for the second day of the Shavua, as chanted in the temple of Jerusalem and by the faithful in exile and diaspora. Here, the second day of the week, the second day of the strong, we have Psalm 48. Here, evening psalm, Psalm 48. Shema Yisrael.
Psalm 48.
מזמור מ"ח, שיר מזמור לבני קורח.
Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth, is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. God is known in her palaces for a refuge, for lo, the kings were assembled. They passed by together, they saw it, and so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Fear took hold upon them there, and pain as of a woman in travail. Thou breakest the ships of Tarshish with an east wind. As we have heard, so have we seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God. God will establish it forever. Selah. We have thought of thy loving kindness, O God, in the midst of thy temple. According to thy name, O God, so is thy praise unto the ends of the earth. Thy right hand is full of righteousness. Let Mount Zion rejoice. Let the daughters of Judah be glad because of thy judgments. Walk about Zion, and go round about her. Tell the towers thereof. Mark ye well her bulwarks. Consider her palaces, that ye may tell it to the generation following. For this God is our God forever and ever. He will be our guide forever.
Yes. The evening psalm, Psalm 48, right there. Now, we've shared this before, but just here to share this right here. A little bit of study, right? A couple of minutes right here on the Midrash for Psalm 48, right here. Shema Yisrael.
And here, Shema Yisrael, a Midrash on today's daily psalm, according to the royal order of the Ethiopian Hebrews, and hereafter the order of Malachi Tzedek,
Mizmor Mim Chet, Mizmor Mem Chet. Psalm 48, Psalm XLVIII. Yes, I. The deliverance, the deliverance of Zion. 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 Psalm 48. Mizmor Mim Chet, Mizmor Mem Chet. Mizmor Mem Chet, Mizmor Mem Chet. Shir Mizmor Livnei Korach. Korach. Gadol Yahweh Hulala Meod. Be'ir Eloheinu Har Kadisho. A song, Shir, Mizmor, a psalm, Shir, a song, Mizmor, a psalm, a chant, an intonation, Livnei Korach, of the sons of Korah. Gadoli Yehovah, great is Jehovah, Hulala Meod, and greatly to be praised. Be'ir Eloheinu Har Kadisho, in the city of Ainai Elohim Eloheinu, his holy, his isla, his set apart mountain, Har Kadsho. Here, Hebraically, the first two verses of today's daily psalm, Psalm 48, Mizmor Mem Chet. The ministering angels said, according to Malachi 1:11, from the rising of the sun even to the going down of the same, my name shall be great among the nations. And the sons of Korach, the Bnei Korach, the sons of Korah, said, Gadoli Yehovah hulal meod be'ir Eloheinu har kadisho, great is Jehovah and greatly to be praised, hulal meod, in the city of Ayanai Elohim, Be'ir Eloheinu, his holy mountain, Har Kadsho. Does this mean that Eloheinu, Ayanai Elohim, is great only in his city? No. The sons of Korah, the Bnei Korach, really meant, quote, great is Yahweh, is Jehovah, because of what he has done in his city and in his sanctuary. End quote. So, too, Scripture says, according to Psalm 99:2, Yahweh, Jehovah is great in Zion, and he is high above all the peoples. That is, if he has done such a thing to his city, how much more will he do to the peoples of the earth, of the earthly plane? For it is said, according to Ermias, according to Jeremiah 25:29, lo, look, I begin to bring evil on the city, upon that my name is called. And should y'all be utterly unpunished? Y'all shall not be unpunished, for I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, of the earthly plane, saith Yahweh Tzebaot, saith Jehovah of hosts. And so the Bnei Korach, the sons of Korah, really meant Gadoli Yahweh hulal meod be'ir Eloheinu har kadisho, great is Jehovah and greatly to be praised, because of the city of Eloheinu, Ainai Elohim, and because of Har Kadisho, because of his isla, his holy mountain. Beautiful, beautiful, declared beautiful, the joy of the whole earth, Mount Zion. Yefei nofa misosa kola haaretz haaretz iona yarikete afona kiryata meleka raba. Beautiful, itiful, declared beautiful, the joy of the whole earth, Mount Zion. Yefei nofa misosa kola haaretz haaretz iona. Here Hebraically, Psalm 48, here at verse 3, the Gimel verse. Why is it said beautiful? Yefei, declared beautiful, nof, Yefei, nof, beautiful, declared beautiful. Why is it said? By this phrase, the Bnei Korach, the sons of Korah, meant beautiful because all men all humanity declared her beautiful. Itiful, beautiful, itiful, because there is none, no one like it, no one like her. Though scripture declares of Tyros, of Tyre, in Ezekiel 27, verse 3, thou, O Tyre, hast said, I am of perfect beauty. According to Ezekiel 27 and 3, Tyre declared, thou, O Tyre, hast said, I am of perfect beauty. It. The words indicate only that the city of Tyros, of Tyre, said this of herself. Not that others said this of her. The common saying is, one is not what one's mother says, but what one's neighbor says. The common saying is, one is not what one's mother says, but what one's neighbors say. Not so of Zion, All men, all humanity admit her beauty, Even when she lay in ruins, it was said, according to Lamentation 2 and 15, is not this the city that men call the perfection of beauty? Nay, more. They call it the joy. Misos kol haaretz, the joy, misos, of the whole earth, called haaretz. Hence, here, the Bnei Korach, the sons of Korah, said, beautiful, declared beautiful, the joy of the whole earth, Mount Zion. Yefe nofa misos kol haaretz haretzion. Why was Mount Zion a joy, misos? Because she made the whole earth, the whole earthly plane, joyful, full of joy. Thus, if a man committed a sin, an uck, and was troubled in his heart, so that his heart was bowed down in him, as Solomon said in Proverbs 12:25, here in the heart of a man bowed it down, but a good thing maketh it glad. He would go up, Aliyah, up to Yerushalayim, and there make an offering, so that his uckery, his sin, would be forgiven him, and his heart would rejoice, and he would go forward glad of heart from the city. Hence, here it is said, Misos kol haaretz har Zion, the joy of the whole earth, Mount Zion. You can see for yourself that this was true of his offering. For Mount Zion, Har Zion, is described as being on the sides of the north, is described as being Yarikete Tzafon, on the sides of the north. But was Mount Zion, in the north of Yerushalayim, of Jerusalem? Was it not in the south? On the sides of the north, Yarikete Tzafon. However, it means that a man would stand and offer up his sin offering, chata'at, his uckery offering, on the tzafon, on the north side of HaMizbeach, of the altar. And it would be killed on the north side of HaMizbeach, on the north side of the altar. As is said in Leviticus, in the Sefer Vayikra 1:11, he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward. What does great connote in the phrase Kiryat Melech Rab, the city of the great king? The king, Ha-Melech, the Negus, even Negus and Neges, is great because he has ordained such things for his own city. He has ordained such things for this world. But in the Olam Haba, the world to come, Elohim himself will be known in her palaces as a protection, as an protection. Elohim be'armenoteha noda'a le misagab. What is meant by the phrase in her palaces? Be'armenoteha. What is meant by the phrase in her palaces? Be'armenoteha. In her chambers. For as the guards in a city do, going about at night from door to door, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, will do in the Olam Haba, in the age to come, protecting each and every chamber. Hence, here it is said, Elohim be'armenoteha noda'a lemisagab. Elohim himself will be known in her palaces. Now, the verses. For lo, the kings assembled themselves. They passed by together. They saw it, so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Here, Hebraically in today's daily psalm, Psalm 48, verses 5 to 6. Ki hine ha-melakim no'edu abru yachdau hema rao ke natamahu nivahelu nechbazu. This refers to the time, to the hour when Jerusalem, was destroyed, was downstroyed. They pass by. They pass by together. Avru yachdau. This means that Hamelakim, the kings. This means that the kings pass by together to destroy, to downstoy Jerusalem, Jerusalem. For it is said in Yirmiyahu, in Armias, in Jeremiah 22:8, quote, and many nations shall pass by this city, and they marveled, Ken tamahu, and they marveled. This means that they marveled at her destruction, at her deconstruction. As it is written in Jeremiah 22, Jeremiah 22:8, quote, they shall say, every man to his neighbor, wherefore hath Jehovah done thus, like this, to this great city? Hence, it is said here, Hebraically in today's daily psalm, Psalm 48, verse 6. Hema rao ken tamahu niba haloa nechpazu. They saw it, rao. And so, they marveled, tamahu. They were troubled, nivahlu, and hasted away. Nechpaz.
Rastafari, Africa is a must. So nobody force now cause. You have to jump on this your bus. Zion born, right?
Psalm 48.
מזמור מ"ח, שיר מזמור לבני קורח.
Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for situation, the joy of the whole earth, is Mount Zion on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. God is known in her palaces for a refuge. For lo, the kings were assembled. They passed by together. They saw it, and so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Fear took hold upon them there, and pain as of a woman in travail. Thou breakest the ships of Tarshish with an east wind. As we have heard, so have we seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God. God will establish it forever. Selah. We have thought of thy loving kindness, O God, in the midst of thy temple. According to thy name, O God, so is thy praise unto the ends of the earth. Thy right hand is full of righteousness. Let Mount Zion rejoice. Let the daughters of Judah be glad because of thy judgments. Walk about Zion, and go round about her. Tell the towers thereof. Mark ye well her bulwarks. Consider her palaces, that ye may tell it to the generation following. For this God is our God forever and ever. He will be our guide forever, 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 forever.
מזמור מ"ח, שיר מזמור לבני קורח. גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, בעיר אלוהינו הר קודשו. יפה נוף משוש כל הארץ, הר ציון ירכתי צפון, קריית מלך רב. אלוהים בארמנותיה נודע למשגב, כי הנה המלכים נועדו, עברו יחדיו. המה ראו כן תמהו, נבהלו נחפזו. רעדה אחזתם שם, חיל כיולדה. ברוח קדים תשבר אוניות תרשיש. כאשר שמענו כן ראינו, בעיר אדוני צבאות, בעיר אלוהינו. אלוהים יכונניה עד עולם סלע. דימינו אלוהים חסדך בקרב היכליך. כשמך אלוהים, כן תהילתך על קצווי ארץ, צדק מלאה ימינך. ישמח הר ציון, תגלנה בנות יהודה למען משפטיך. שובו ציון והקיפוה, ספרו מגדליה. שיטו לבכם לחילה, פסגו ארמנותיה. למען תספרו לדור אחרון, כי זה אלוהים אלוהינו עולם ועד, הוא ינהגנו על מות.
Yes, 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 yes. So here for this 20th. We had the 20th sabbatical 20th sabbatical study for this Shabbat Strong. We're at Tetzawa. Let me bring this up right here. Tetzawa. This 20th sabbatical study for this Shabbat Strong right here. Here we go. Let's bring it on the screen right here. Tetzawa here from the LOJ. Line of Judah, LOJS.org site right here, Torah portion, the 20th right here, this sabbatical study right here. Let me bring this up. So here's where we're at here with the second day of the Shavua. Here, Tetzaveh, often pronounced in modern Hebrew as Tetzaveh, ancient pointing Tetzaveh. Thou shalt command, Tetzaveh. Here we pick up with Exodus chapter 27 at verse 20 to Exodus chapter 30 verse 10 for Tetzaveh. Here's the Torah reading and feedings, the Aliyot, first reading, second reading. So here we have the first two readings right here. Here for the second day, give thanks. Second day of the Shavua right here. Third day's reading, fourth day, fifth day, as we practice the custom of an Aliyah, a day, a reading a day for like the bite-size Torah portion right here, the bite-sized reading during the Shavua, right, up to the sixth day, and then the seventh day on the Shabbat day, the 7 readings, all the fullness of the readings right there for the Shabbat day. But to study Yeshua self-approved, going through the first day's reading, that will correspond to what the Gentiles call Sunday, second day reading, what the Gentiles call the moon day, also called Monday, third day's reading Thursday, Slicha. The first day's reading Sunday, what they call Sunday, second day Monday, third day Tuesday, fourth day the middle of the week, Wednesday, the fifth day, what they call Thursday, the sixth day, what they call Friday, and the seventh day, what we know as the Shabbat day. So then we have the Haftarah, the prophet's reading here for this 20th sabbatical study, Parashat Tetzaveh. We have Ezekiel, Yechezkel. We have Ezekiel reading chapter 43. Focus verses 10 to 27 in the Brit Chadasha, what is called the New Covenant, New Testament reading. We have the epistle to the Hebrews chapter 13, focus verses verse 10 to verse 17. So a brief overview outline right here, picking up with Exodus chapter 27, verse 29. Remember, this is the continuity here. Here we're in the continuity, for like continuity purposes. So here we're in the continuation of the Torah reading from the previous. So here, this is a continuation of the instructions for the construction of the structure that's called the sanctuary, the Mikdash, aka the holy place, also known as the dwelling place, the Mishkan. Right, so here in the continuation of the instructions, right? So we have Exodus chapter 20 picking up 27, Exodus chapter 27 picking up with verse 20. So here we get the oil for the lamp. In Exodus chapter 28, verse 1, the vestments, investment. Interesting how language goes. Vestments, the vestiture, like the garments, investment, the vestments for the priesthood, for the kahuna, right? In Exodus, same chapter 28 at verse 6, we get the ephod. The ephod, some say the ephod, right? The ephod, right? Pronouncing it the ancient Hebrew, the ephod, almost sound like effort, right? But ephod, right? The ephod. Then in the same chapter, verse 15, we get the choshen, the breastplate, the choshen, right? The choshen, right? The breastplate. Then same chapter at verse 31, the other priestly vestments, the garments for the priests. Now, according to what we are reading and studying, it seems to be that a key part of the priestly function, right, was also, in addition to the consecration, the ordination, the anointing, because the priests were the only ones in the camp, according to the Torah, that were anointed, that were mashacha, that were anointed. In other words, Aaron, according to the Torah, was the first, we say Christ, in the sense of the first anointed, or Mashiach, right? And then we have his sons, the sons of Aaron. Now, when the priesthood gets strictly transferred, to Aharon, right? Now, this is interesting because remember, there's already priests. We already have studied in this Torah reading and feeding in this semester that there was already priests, right? Even among the Israelites when they was in Egypt. Now, who they exactly were, it's not overtly, revealed in the text. We could say it was Levi as well. If we, consult with other books like the Testament of the 12 Patriarchs, and other, we could say, scriptural works. But we already have the priests. Even when Moshe was going up to receive the tablets and the additional instructions, right? It spoke about the priests and the elders and the priests, right? But here we have the other priestly vestments. Also, take note that the Levites, right? The Levites are not exclusively given this charge just yet, right? The molten so-called golden calf incident, right, is really what's going to bring it on. So it's not going to be in this Torah reading and feeding. We're getting close to it, right? We're talking about Exodus chapter 32, which is exactly 13 chapters. So when we go 13 chapters, it's interesting, 13 chapters after the people enter into the covenant, that they effectively break the covenant with the molten calf, which is falsely called the golden calf. It's just like the falsely called 10 commandments. Actually, it's the 10 words. According to the Torah, it is the Torah, right? It is the direction instruction, the heart of the direction instruction, but called Ha-Torah, as well as Ha-Mitzvah, as well as the command, the 10 words. So the 10 words from Exodus chapter 20 that Yahweh Elohim spoke, that they heard his voice. In the same chapter 20, the people said, if we hear his voice anymore, we're going to die. So Moshe, you be our mediator. So therefore that mediation, right, of the Sinai covenant through Moshe, this now reflects what we have in the Brit Chadasha of the new covenant and the mediator of the new covenant. Only one mediator, between God and man, Elohim and man, and that is the man, right? Yeshua HaMashiach, or Mashiach Yeshua, our high priest. Also, that's important to also note that Yeshua is the high priest, according to the revelation in the scriptures. So he is Messiah, right? Anointed according to his high priestship. And I know a lot of ones often talk about he's king, Jesus is king. So, but remember that wasn't the same charge that they used to crucify him. That those who were anti Moshiach used. They was talking about he's king, he's king, he's king, 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 king. You even have the incident where he run from them. He basically just jetted from them, went up into the mountain just to be by himself. Like, they're not really understanding. That's why Hebrews is so important, right? The epistle to the Hebrews is so important if we read it in its context. As it says, the high priest of our profession, what we are to profess if we are truly in Moshiach, that he is the high priest, right? So now we have here the instruction, the basic instructions being given for the sanctuary, the construction for the structure, the tabernacle. And then we also are given the purpose from the previous Torah reading and feeding for continuity purposes, where we're at right here. And then here we come to the lampstand. So the key about this Tetzaweh, thou shalt command, is concerning the lampstand, which is falsely called candlesticks. So a couple of, if you want to really get the truth, then a couple of things you have to kind of update, maybe make a note in your Bibles as well as your notes, right? That when you see candlesticks, you shouldn't really read candlesticks. If you want to understand it properly, you should read it as lampstand. When you read about 10 commandments, you should not read it as 10 commandments, but the 10 words, the commandment, right? As well as actually you wouldn't find golden calf in the KJV Bibles, maybe the notes, but you won't find it in the text because it doesn't really appear in the text. It's a molten calf, right? But be that as it may, Exodus chapter 28, 31, right? The other priestly vestments, right? Then in chapter 29, right, we get what the ordination of the Kohanim, or with the priests, right? Now, it's no doubt that in Yahweh's, understanding and overstanding, he already understood what would happen and what would come to pass, right? But this very time, remember that the covenant, right, the covenant that was given to Yisrael to be a kingdom, a sovereignty of the priesthood, and a goy kadosh, and a holy or set apart nation. So that meant that basically all the, rank and file, the mandem of Yisrael in particular, would be the Kohanim, would be the priests, right? As Yisrael's role, when we really begin to recognize in the scripture, according to Yahweh's will, was to be like the priests among the nations, right? To be the priests among the nations. But the molten calf, falsely called golden calf incident, turns everything on its head. And when things begin to turn right, this is when we come to the Brit Chadasha, according to what Yahweh's will was for Yisrael. He says that Yisrael was to be a sovereignty or a kingdom of the priesthood. He didn't say that the Levites alone, right, or that Aaron alone, but the incidences that are coming up, especially in chapter 32, 13 chapters after the Israelites in chapter 19, right, come into the covenant. But here in chapter 29, this Torah reading and feeding, we get the ordination. How are the priests to be ordinated, so to speak, right? Chapter 29, same chapter, verse 38, right? We get the daily, right? The daily offerings. So there are certain daily offerings, day by day. There was day by day offerings. Now, even when we begin to just sit down and think about this, like, wow. So that means every day there was certain offering, certain animals. Every day there were daily offerings. This also ties into what Moshiach says in the Brit Chadash in the New Testament scriptures, when he speaks about when he tried to say that he violated the Sabbath, and he said, well, what did like David do, and what happened when David ate the showbread, and so forth and so on, and how the priests, within the in their service, they profane the Sabbath in the sense of they do work on the Sabbath. But then we note what Yeshua is talking about by studying Torah, that there was offerings even on the Sabbath day. There was offering for every day, right? And then there was an additional special offering, right, on the Shabbat day. So that means that the priests, even on the Sabbath day, right, they engage in their regular occupational activity that the children of Israel, the rank and file Israelites. That's why we have actually 13 tribes. People don't really talk about that. There's really 13 tribes. Did you know that? Yes, there's the 12 tribes of Israel. Why? Because Levi was not to be added into the number, was not to be numbered in with the other 12. Right? So think about when it's numbering the 12 tribes of Israel, it's numbering Levi separately. Now, this all goes back to what Jacob said to his son Joseph. He said that Ephraim and Manasseh, they shall be mine, right? As the other, his son's son. So the sons, he claimed the sons of Joseph, or adopted the sons of Joseph into the 12. These are areas that people don't really think about, really focus on. So wait, if there's 12 tribes of Israel, and then if Jacob, the patriarch, he adopts Manasseh, Ephraim and Manasseh as his own, right? And we know that Joseph is not really a tribe, right? Don't we know that? Joseph is not really a tribe in that sense. What's the tribe of Joseph? That his sons, in a sense, his sons kind of replace him, right? Then when we get to the wilderness, we notice that there are the 12, right? And that Levi is counted separately. And remember that Joseph is not. So if you take Joseph away from the 12, you have 11, right? And then if you add the two sons of who? The two sons of Joseph, right? You have what? 13. Just for that basic math there. When we say 13 tribes, some people think we're talking about what was Arthur Coisters, or that guy who wrote the book of the 13th tribe. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Torah. Right? We're talking about Torah. So yeah. So we have, yes, it's the 12 tribes of Israel, right? But if you really do the count, it's the 12 tribes, the ranking, those who are not the priests, the Levites, and then it was Levi, right, who would have the function of the holy place, right? And the sons of Aaron, who were Levites, right, but they were the anointed ones, they would have the function of the priests. So all the priests, according to what we have here in the Torah, were Levites, but not all the Levites were priests. We have to get a sound effect for those ones right there. Those are really big points right there. That all of the Levites, right? All of the Levites were not priests, right? But all the priests had to be Levites. Another way of saying it. But remember, all of this is going to become crystallized, especially after the molten calf incident, right? And when Moshe comes down from the mount and he saw the uckery going on, he said, well, who's on Yahweh's side? And the only one that had a clear conscience was the tribe of Levi, right? And they came and they did that work, right? So chapter 29, 38, the daily offerings, going into detail. And then we have a very, very important chapter. That's chapter 30. As you can see, the altar, right? We have the altar of Aishans. Remember, this Torah reading and feeding right here is from, let's go up here, right here, is from Exodus chapter 27, verse 20 to chapter 30, verse 10, right? Chapter 30, verse 10. Let me get my hard copy right here, and let's see if the notes are as we recall them, right? So right here, chapter 30, let's go to chapter 30 for a moment. Just getting an overview right here. Yeah, chapter 30, the tabernacle, we get to the 18th item. So in counting the different items that Yahweh is describing, remember, He said, apologies on that right there, brothers and sisters. Yeah, just a little technical thing. Sometimes this technology, is very good, but it's very, well, imperfect people create imperfect technology. You know what I mean? So it does things sometimes. Give me one moment right here. All right, here we go right there. Yeah, just to bring it back on the screen right there. All right, so here we have chapter 30, the tabernacle, the altar of Ancients. And here there's a note, we have the great worship chapter, the great worship. So there was two altars, remember? There was two altars. There's the brazen altar, right? Brass, the copper brass being a symbol of judgment. And then we have the golden altar, right? So we have the brazen altar in the outer courtyard, or in the courtyard. And then we have in the tent, in the tabernacle, right? The golden altar, the golden altar of Ancients, the golden altar of incense, right? So when we get to chapter 30 right here, we have the 18th item, the golden altar of incense, and this is called the great worship chapter. So, right, so we go up to verse 10, right? Then as we pick up, right, in the same chapter, just to break down chapter 30, so we're only going to verse 10, right? And verse 10 basically describing the altar of Ancients, right? And then when we continue the chapter in the upcoming Torah reading and feeding after this, right, who may worship, concerning the altar of Ancients, right? The redeemed, how the redeemed are those who may worship. Who may worship, right? The cleansed may worship, right? Who may worship? The anointed may worship, right? Worship, the worship itself involves the incense or the Ancients. Why? Because the incense or the Ancients, Hebraically, according to the Hebrew faith, is a type of prayer and praise, right? Prayer and praise. Remember, this is underneath the title of worship, right? For it is for Yahweh, is for the Lord, right? The incense, the Ancients is spiritual and it's not sensuous. Now, there, I think is a great reasonment, even for, we say, Rastafari, you know what I mean? When we talk about the Ancients, the incense, to really understand some of the principles right there, and then we can examine I and ourselves, right? But right here for this Torah reading and feeding right here, let's scroll through this. So the altar of Ancients is described. And then in Ezekiel chapter 43, verse 13, we have another similar theme, Chabarim, of the altar. All right. Now comparing also the tabernacle and the temple in Ezekiel, these temple types. Now remember that when Yahweh gives the instruction to Moshe from the previous Torah reading and feeding, what is for teruma, the offerings, right? He says he emphasizes the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of the instruments, right? And at the end of the chapter, right? At the end of the chapter, he brings out that was from chapter 25, just for continuity here. So if you have your scripts, right, or one, just take note of it, even a mental note of it, right? We have chapter 25, where it says, speak to the children of Israel that they bring me an offering, right? And then we get to verse 9, according to all that I shew thee, the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instruments thereof, even so shall y'all make. And then we get to the end of the chapter, right? This is at the end of the chapter here. Let's see, verse 40, Exodus chapter 25, verse 40. He says, and look or see, in the sense of and look or see. The better translation would have been like and consider, but literally it's to see. The see in the sense of consider, seeing, sight, and consider that thou make, right? Everything that he described, right? After the pattern that was shew thee in the mount. So from chapter 25, we get to understand that a key is the pattern recognition, right? Because remember, in the New Covenant scriptures, it says that our bodies are the what? Are the temple, right? So we get the temple type, the tabernacle / temple, and then we get in the New Covenant, right? We get the body. So notice what it says. It says about the shadows, how the Old Testament is said to be a shadow of that which the new covenant is the substance of, right? So how the Old Testament study of the tabernacle is very important to get a fuller understanding and application of what we have written in the new, right? This is why Hebrews spends most of, its time in explaining vis-a-vis, okay, here we are in the new covenant. See Moshiach, the anointed. Here, old covenant. Look at Aaron. Look at his sons. Look at the new covenant here. Messiah is our high priest. And therefore we, in faith in he and his father, his God, our God, we are those priests, as Peter says in his epistle, right? A royal priesthood. So here in Ezekiel chapter 43, just to bring out this verse 13, the measure of the altar says, and these are the measures of the altar after the cubits. The cubit, right? The cubit, a cubit and a handbreadth. That's another thing we need to look at. We look at the measurements. What are these measurements? You talk about cubits and, like what is the measurement of a cubit? So we can understand, the size, like the weights and measures as well, right? Because there's a judgment, righteousness, even in the weights and measures. When it talks about weights and measures, how weights and measures in business, has to be, right and accurate. Otherwise, it is a crime or what we can call a sin, right? It says, even the bottom there shall be a cubit, and the breadth a cubit, and the border thereof by the edge thereof round about shall be a span. So what's the measurement of a cubit? What were they working with? What it means by a hand? Is it a literal hand, right? What's a span, right? What's the measurement? And this shall be the higher place of the altar. So that's what we get in Ezekiel chapter 43 at verse 13 right there. So here, before we bring in the first words right here, let's just touch on this here. The Torah portion, the study, this is our study book, a compilation here, so we can kind of sharpen ourselves with looking at what is the best and the ancient interpretations from other scholars of Torah, and then we can come reason on it. Some things we find from the ancient scholars were true, right and accurate, very good scholarship. Other things, well, growing in grace and the knowledge. So Tetzaweh is the 20th reading from the Torah. Tetzaweh, right? Thou shalt command tetzaveh, thou shalt command. It means you, the I, male, shall command. Tetzaveh, right? You, male, shall command. As in the first verse of the reading that says, right? This is from Exodus chapter 27, verse 20, a translation. You shall command Tetzaweh, the sons of Israel, the Bnei Yisrael, that they bring you clear oil of beaten olives for the light, to make a lamp burn continually. Right? Exodus chapter 27, verse 20. Now, this Torah portion that continues to narrate, continuing from the previous, the narration of the instructions for the construction of the structure that's called the tabernacle, focusing primarily on the kahuna. So here we're focusing more on those who will serve. So first it was the structure and the purpose of the structure, so that Yahweh would shakan, will abide, will dwell. As we have in the New Testament, the word became flesh. See that right there? The word became flesh and dwelt amongst us. Yahweh says here in Exodus, right? Make me a sanctuary that I may shakan, that I may dwell, that I may tabernacle among you. So here now we're focusing primarily or particularly on the priesthood that was to serve, right, in the sanctuary, in the holy place. Now the Israelites, the Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel, the Israelites, are commanded to make special garments for Aharon, for Aaron, Ubanav, and his Banim, and his sons, to wear while ministering as priests. So as we study the Torah narrative, like sometimes people say, it's not about your clothing, not about your garments. Yeah, I get that. But here in the Torah, actually, that is a part of it as well, right? Not to say it's not about their hearts and their minds, yes, but it's also about the garments. As we get into some of the details, Yah says that, well, after the priests serve, they have to take off their, when they serve, they put on these garments. After they serve, they take them off and they go out, right, amongst the other Israelites, in their regular and other clothing. And then I think there's a verse which says that they are not to sanctify the people by their clothing. Remember when Yeshua was talking about the Pharisees and the scribes and the rabbis and their hypocrisy, how they like to go into the marketplaces and get these greetings of people, and how they like to expand their, fringes and their borders and everything to be seen of men. It's interesting because in the Torah narrative, in other words, we can match that, what we have in the Torah, with what Messiah, the mediator of the new covenant, is saying, even in the Brit Hadasha, that Yahweh says that the priests are to take off their priestly garments after they finish their service, put on other garments, right? And with a specific warning, or specific command saying that they should not sanctify the people with their garments. Think about that for a moment. Sanctifying the people with their garments. Just zooming ahead, remember when Aaron is about to pass, Aaron was about to pass, and his son Eliezer, right, was brought up to the mount, and how Moshe, right, took off the garments, right, off of Aaron, right, and then placed the high priestly garments on his son Eliezer. That was a way symbolically and effectively to transfer that power, right, by way of the garments. So we just have to consider how garments might have their kind of role. Now, in the new covenant, it says, put on Moshiach. Notice when it says that, right? Put on Messiah. The question we have to ask is, well, how do we put on Messiah? How do we put on Moshiach? But here, the Israelites are commanded to make special garments for Aharon and his sons to wear while ministering as priests. Right? After describing the priestly garments, this Torah portion right here, concludes with instructions, right, for the rites, the ritual they say inauguration, but initiation, right? The rites, the Hebrew rites and rituals for initiating of Aaron and his sons into the priesthood. Well, actually, the Torah portion here actually concludes with the beginning of the great worship. Now remember, the great worship consisted of the prayer and the praise that was symbolized by the altar, the golden altar of Aishans that was in the tabernacle, that was in, you could say, the tent, right? So right here, there's a portion commentary, right? Let's just deal with the first part of this right here. You shall make holy garments for Aharon, holy garments for Aaron, when we pick up with Exodus chapter 28 and 2. Right now, what's also interesting for, maybe some of us quote Torah, I won't say geeks, but, nerds who get into some of the details right here. Interesting detail is that when it mentioned the garments are for kavod for glory, right, and for honor, tifera, right, the Hebrew tefari, tifera, right. That's the point there to be brought out. But here, right? Now, the story from the Talmud. Now, once again, let's explain this once again, right? The word Talmud is the operative word in Hebrew that means teaching. Some teaching are good and clean. Some teaching are bad and obscene. Right? We even have it among even Israelites, even Christians. They say they believe in Christ, they have a Bible, but some of their teachings, go opposite of the Bible, right? Even though they probably will pretend that they are the Bible, right? The same thing. So the Talmud, generally speaking, there's more than the Babylonian one, right? Is generally speaking a compilation, right? Of teachings of different ones, past and present. Now, the problem with the Talmud basically is this. It's like, you ever been in school, right? Like a college or school, like, for example, where you have to read a book and then you have to give, like, a writing on the book, or you have to read a certain book and then take a test. And then sometimes, you ever remember in school I recall this as well, that sometimes people get cliff notes, right? You go for cliff notes, or you go for somebody else's notes, but you won't really study the matter for yourself, and you'll base it on their notes because they explain it well, and you figure, well, they know it, but you haven't really studied it for yourself. So even if you were to study the text for yourself and then look at the notes, you can see some places where the notes are really no good, or they're not correct, right? But here, right? We have a thought for the Shabua. Let's comment on this one here from Exodus Rabbah, from the Great Exodus. Exodus Rabbah, the Great Exodus 37 and 4. It says, out of all the countries, out of all the lands, all the countries, the Holy One, blessed be He, in the Hebrew, Hakadosh, the Holy One, Baruch, blessed be He. Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Out of all the countries, Hakadosh Baruch Hu chose the land. So out of all lands, the Holy One, blessed be He, chose the land, right, of Yisrael, or chose the land for Israel. And from the land chosen for Yisrael, He selected the Haykal. The Haykal is the temple, right? And from the Haykal, from the temple, He selected the Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. In a similar way, similarly, out of all the nations, right? Out of all the nations, Yahweh Eloheinu, right, selected Yisrael, selected Israel. And from Yisrael, from Israel, he selected the tribe of Lewi, or Levi. And from the tribe, or of the tribe of Levi, right, he selected Aharon, right? And here to this ancient Talmud, we can even add with authority of the scripture, right? He chose Aharon, right, and his sons, right? He chose Aharon and his lineage. This is why we find that in the old covenant sense that only Aaron and his sons were to be the Kohanim, were to be the priests. Now, we find that this, according to the Torah, is after chapter 32. Right? Before that, it's not quite so obvious because there are already priests of Israel. Right? There's already priests among Israel, right? Which is the most curious feature, that it says when Yahweh said, Moshe, come up, but the priests and the elders keep them over there. The priests? Who are these priests? Right? Were any of these priests the same ones like Nadab and Abihu and Korah and some of the other Israelites that later on sought to rebel in the book of Numbers against the proper authority of Moshe and Aharon? It's a question right there. But here, this Torah reading and feeding right here. Let's go to the top and let's touch on the first and second aliyot. Right? The first and second aliyot. Let's look at the time. Wow, the time be moving. Right? Let's go over here. Time be moving. So Tetzaweh, there's some of the ways that it's spelled in the Hebrew, or rather, there's ways that it's transliterated from the Hebrew based on different speakers, right? Right? All of these we find to be wrong, not really right. They should be Tetzaweh. But anyway, some say Tetzaveh, right? Tetzaweh, you shall command, right? Let's go down here. Let's bring this out and scroll down here. Well, okay, let's just touch on this right here. Touch on this part here. So, okay, we have the eighth reading from the book of Exodus. So here in Exodus, we have the eighth reading. The Torah portion, the Parsha right here, it reports how Elohim commands to bring oil, olive oil for the lamp, right, which is called the menorah. See, that's why I was emphasizing so much how candlestick in the previous Torah portion of the King James Version was a false translation, right? Because if you take it literally, okay, you have a candlestick, right? So what in the world does oil have to do for candlestick? With a candlestick, do you need any oil to burn it? If you have a candlestick, you don't need no oil to burn it. So that's why that's false, because the lampstand. With a lampstand, right, now puts our mind in the proper context with oil, right? So here in this Torah reading and feeding, the 20th Tetzaweh, right, here Elohim commands to bring oil. I keep saying oil olive. Why I keep saying oil olive? I think I have to keep saying oil olive because of what's written here. Let's read it here. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure oil olive. Yeah, there we go. Oil olive beaten for the light to cause the lamp to burn always. Or actually in the Hebrew, to cause the lamp to ascend, like to cause the lamp, the light to go up, to cause the light to burn right there is actually the word in Hebrew, Allah. Allah means like aliyah, going up, right? To ascend, to meet, to visit, right? To go up, right? To ascend, to go up, right? So that's the reason why right there, okay, olive oil, right? Oil olive, right? For the menorah, right? The menorah. And to make sacred garments for the Kohanim, for the priests, and to conduct an ordination, right, ceremony, and to make an incense altar or to make the golden altar of Aisha. So the main things here in this Torah reading and feeding is the command to bring the oil olive, right, for the lamp, right, for the menorah, and to make sacred set apart garments for the Kohanim, the priests, and to conduct an initiation or ordination ceremony, and to make an altar of Aishans. Right now, just note that the golden altar, that's the great worship. So we have, interesting, we have the basic worship at the brazen altar for sin, for the sins, right? But then inside the tent, right, is where the priests, right, would conduct what we can call the prayer and the praise or the altar of Aisha. This is why Revelation, when you read in Revelation and it talks about that there was Aishans and there was the incense, and it said that the incense, the Aishan, is the prayers of the saints. So when you Revelation talk about the prayers of the saints, it is basing it on the pattern, right? The pattern, as Moshe was told, see that you do all things according to the pattern. Now, getting to some other geekish matter, but it's important when you're doing a study that you need to know these numbers, right? In this Torah reading and feeding, 27:20 to 30:10, right? The Parsha is made up of 5,430 Hebrew words, 1,412, slicha. It's made up of 5,430 Hebrew letters. All right, so the individual Hebrew letters in this Torah portion is 5,430. The Hebrew words is 1,412. The verses is 101 verses that in a proper like Torah scroll would take up 179 lines in a Torah scroll. And Yehudi, right, and we the black Jews of the Lion tribe of Judah, we read this in the 20th Sabbath, Shabbat, after Simchat Torah, right, usually in February or March. So let's go over a few of these quick things right here. We'd like to go over the summary, you know what I mean? Like, like read the cliff notes, like you just read over the cliff notes, you know what I mean? And then go into the text yourself, right? And then go back over the cliff notes and see whether it was right and accurate. So in traditional Sabbath Torah readings, now remember that Yeshua also observed this as well. When it says in Luke's gospel, as it was his custom to go into the what? The synagogue, right? Or the local gathering, the local Yehudi church, right? On the Shabbat day. And Yeshua, he went up to read, he went up to read the Haftarah, the prophet's reading from Isaiah. But in traditional Sabbath Torah readings, the Parsha is divided into 7 readings. So for every Sabbath day, the Torah reading and feeding for that week, that Shabuah, there are like 7 readings known as Aliyot. Aliyot. Each one is known as an Aliyah, right? All together, Aliyot. So the first of the Aliyot, the first Aliyah, right? Exodus chapter 27, verse 20 to 28 and 12. In the first reading, right? Yahweh instructs the Israelites, the Bnei Yisrael, right, to bring Moshe clear olive oil so that Aharon and his descendants as Kohen Gadol, right, as high priests, right? Let me just emphasize anointed. I know I do this a lot. Someone say, why you keep saying that Aaron was Christ? Well, if Christ means Messiah, right? If Christ means Messiah, as the New Testament tells us, then the first and only Messiah that we have in the Old Testament was Aharon. And then Hebrews back that up because Hebrews is explaining how Yeshua's, right, after the order of Melchizedek is superior to the order of Aharon, but yet the order of Aharon, there's a pattern that we need to recognize. And his descendants as high priests, right, could kindle lamps regularly in the tabernacle. Now, Elohim instructed Moses to make sacral vestments for Aharon. What are these sacral vestments, right? The sacral vestments right here, right, is the breastplate, plate or breast piece, right? Breast piece, right? In the Hebrew, that's the choshen, right? And the ephod, the ephod, which is a robe, right? A robe, jaja robe, that robe, right? A gold frontlet, right? For between the eyes, yeah? Inscribed holy, right? To Yahweh, right? A fringed tunic, a headdress, well, we can say like a turban, a headdress, right? A sash, and linen breeches, Also, we have to talk about linen, right? Linen is a very interesting fabric, right? Linen is a very interesting fabric right there. Now, in the second reading right here, Exodus 28:13-30, right? The Sheni Aliyah, right? Yahweh, he details the instructions for the breast piece, known as the breastplate, called in Hebrew the choshen, right? Elohim instructed Moshe to also place the Urim and Tumim. What are the Urim and Tumim? Urim and Tumim, right? Inside the breast piece, the breastplate of decision, right? Going to touch on that as well right there. But the first things right here that we like to touch on is just the first words, and then we'll share this Torah reading and feeding, first and second aliyah. So Shema Yisrael.
And here, Shema Yisrael, here, Hebrew first words right here for this 20th Rastafari sabbatical study, and here for this Shabbat strong, for Shabbat Tetzaweh, Sabbath thou shalt command. Hebrew first words right here. Here from the Sefer Shemot, the second book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Exodus chapter 27, here at verse 20. Wa'ata Tetzaweh. Eta b'nei Yisrael, v'yikchu eleika shemen zayit zak katita lamor li ha'elot ner tamid. And thou, the eye, shalt command. W'ata titzaweh, the eye shall command. Eta b'nei Yisrael, the sons, the children of Yisrael. V'yikchu eleika, that they take for the eye, they bring to the eye. V'yikchu eleika shemen zayit zaka katita lamaor, pure olive oil beaten lamaor, for the lights. Leha elot ner tamid, to cause a lamp to burn, to ascend. Leha elot ner tamid, to cause a lamp to burn, to ascend. Tamid, continually. Hebrew first words here for this Shabbat Tetzaweh, Sabbath thou, the eye shall command. Wa'ata tetzaweh et b'nei Yisrael, v'yikchu eleika shemen zayit zaka katita lamor li ha'elot ner tamid. Wa'ata tetzaweh, and thou, the eye, shalt command.
Yes. Right here. Just a little tune right here. Commandments. This is La Kalanji. Check it.
It's majesty. So God for ruler, Emperor Haile Selassie. I can't declare that. I mean, some more strength to hear that. Everything is alright, as long as there's life. People love and unite. Nothing is wrong with the children vibes, y'all. Everything is alright, as long as there's life. People love and unite. Nothing is wrong musical vibes, yo. Everything is alright. People love and unite. As long as there's life, nothing is wrong. Them the vibes, okay. War them a war, me say the war thing for done, yo. Put on your knife, me tell them go put on the gun. No longer you gonna hear the youth's blood and run. No longer the youths them a go under the ground. The youths them educated in them nervous and blossom. No longer can you stand them, no living on the scum. Them no yam from the rums, them down yam out on the drum. You stand to keep your life when you keep us still dumb. My bless I say that and son boy. Charge bongo man chant on the big drum, young. Everything is alright as long as there's light, yo. People love when unite. Cause nothing is wrong with the children of vibes, yo. Everything is alright. People love when unite. As long as there's life, murder them war and strife. Oh, I tell you in the solid place, I see they seek the bread. Me smoke me herbs and meditate, so me know the system really red. Okay, but you cannot put these problems on your bed. Whoa, the blind must be led, the hungry must be fed. They never get me down, no matter how them criticize me. Know what? Not a word what they said. Ooh yeah, Tom, Rastafari blessed. Boom yum, everything is alright as long as there's light, yo. People love and unite. Nothing is wrong. So this musical vibes, yo. Everything is alright as long as there's life. People love and unite. Nothing is wrong with this musical vibes. Cause thou shall not commit adultery. Thou shall not perform wickedness. Thou shall not bear false witness. Thou shall not rob. Thou shall not kill. King so that said judgment is right. Justice. Roasting so that
Yes. Yeah, you saw the Pope right there. That right there was talking about the breastplate right there. So you see that in the circulation right there. Just sort of zoom in on the breastplate. How they even try to jack that right there. But here I want to show you this right here. This is, remember we were talking about the golden lampstand. You know, they call it candlesticks right here, right? And from the top view, you see the top view right there, the design right there, the top view, right? The positioning, right, of it, you know, top down. So we're saying that the so-called 6-pointed star equals, right, in this pattern. You know, it says, see that you do all things according to the pattern. But be that as it may, right there. Here we have the first and second aliyot, the gems, right? So even getting into the gems and the commodities and the metals. Yes. Shema Yisrael. Here. First and second aliyot.
And here. Shema Yisrael. Here. Gevil Yisrael. Here for the Rishon aliyah for this Shabbat Tetzaweh. Sabbath thou, the I, male, shall command. For Shabbat Tetzaweh, here for the Rishon. The Rishon, the first aliyah. Here, picking up with the second book of Moshe, the Hebrew book that's called Exodus chapter 27. Here at verse 20 for this 20th Rastafari sabbatical study, and here for this Shabbat strong, here for the Rishon aliyah, here for the first up offering up, here for the Rishon aliyah, here for the first reading, for this Shabbat Tetzaweh. Sabbath, thou, male, shalt command. The tabernacle, Hamishkan. Here, the 17th item, the oil for the light, the oil for the illumination. V'shem ha'av v'habein v'ruach ha'adosh Yahweh echad. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, he who be, the one. Wa'ata tetzaweh et b'nei Yisrael v'yikochu eleka. Shemen zayita zaka tatita lamaor leha elot ner tamid. And thou, the I, shall command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. Wa'ata tetzaweh et b'nei Yisrael, and thou, the I, male, shall command, We'ata Tetzaweh, et b'nei Yisrael, the sons, the children of Yisrael, We'yikochu eleika, that they take to the eye, that they bring to the eye, We'yikochu eleika, shemena zayita zaka katita lamaor, that they bring to the eye pure olive oil beaten for the lights. Shemen zayit zak katit lamaor li ha'elot ner tamid, to cause a lamp, a ner li ha'elot, to ascend, to burn, to ascend tamid, continually, itinually. Wa'ata tetzaweh et b'nei Yisrael we'yikochu eleika shemen zayit zak katit lamaor li ha'elot ner tamid. In the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, that before the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before Jehovah, a statute forever to their generations, on the behalf of the Bnei Yisrael, on the behalf of the children of Yisrael. Ohela mo'eda mi chut la paroketa asher al ha'edut ya eroka oto aheronu banayu me erev ad boker lifnei Yehovah hukata olam le dorotam meita bnei Yisrael. Here Shema Yisrael. Here second book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Exodus chapter 28. The priesthood, the kahuna, the priesthood. First item, the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, and the Kohanim, HaKohanim, and the priests. Types of Moshiach, types of Christos, types of Christ, and the Mitmenan, the Amanyot, and the believers of the church age. And take thou to thee Aaron, Aharon, thy brother, and his sons with him from among the children, the sons of Yisrael, that he may minister to me in the priest's office even. Aharon, Nadav, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar, Aaron's sons. Wa'ata ha'kereva leka eta Aharon achika we'eta banayo ito mitok b'nei Yisrael le kahino li Aharon Nadav wa Avihu Eleazar we Itamar b'nei Aharon. And thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. Ve'asita v'gdei kodesh le'Aharon achika le kavod ulatif arek. And thou and I shalt speak to all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister to me, to I in the priest's office. Wa'ata ti'daver illa kola hakame lev asher mialetioa ruach hakma we asueta vigdei Aharon le kadsho le kahino li, and thou the I shall speak. We'ata tidaber, and thou the I shall speak. We'ata tidaber il kol hakmei lev, to all that are wise-hearted. Il kol hakmei lev, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom. Asher miletio ruach hakma, that they make Aaron's garments to sanctify him, to set him apart. That he may minister to me, to I, in the priest office. Le kahino li. The kahuna, the priesthood. Second item, the garments of the Kohen Gadol, of the high priest. Verse 4. And these are the garments that thou shalt make: a breastplate, and an ephod, and a robe, and a broidered coat, a mitre, and a girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he may minister to me, to I, in the priest's office. With ele ha begadim asher ya'isu choshen, with ephod u'ma'ila u'aktoneta tashavet mitzanefet with avnet with asul bigdeya kodesh le'aharon achika ulabanayo le'kahino li. And these are the garments. Ve'ele ha-biggadim. Ve'ele ha-biggadim. And these are the garments asher ya'isu. And these are the garments that they shall make. Ve'ele ha-biggadim asher ya'isu. Choshen, the choshen, a breastplate, with a ephod and a ephod, me'il, and a robe, ketonet, and a tunic, ketonet tashabetz, and a tunic of checker work, mitznefet, a mitre, with avnet, and a girdle, with asua bigdeya kodesh, le'aharon achika, and they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother. With asu bigdei kodesh le'aharon achika u'levanayo le'kahino li, that they make holy garments, set apart garments for Aaron, thy brother, Aharon Achika, thy brother, Levanayo, and his sons, that he may minister to me, to I, in the priest's office. Kahino li. The materials. Verse 5. And they shall take gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine linen. Wehema yikahu eta ha-zahav, we'eta ha-tikaleta, we'eta ha-argamana, we'eta tola'ata ha-shani, we'eta ha-shesh. The ephod, the ephod, verse 6. And they shall make the ephod of gold, blue, and purple, scarlet, and fine twined linen, with cunning work. It shall have the two shoulder pieces thereof joined at the two edges thereof, and it shall be joined together. And the curious girdle of the ephod that upon it shall be of the same, according to the work thereof, even of gold, of blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And thou shalt take 2 onyx stones, and grave on them the names of the Bnei Yisrael, and grave on them the Shemota Bnei Yisrael, 6 of their names on one stone, and the other 6 names of the rest on the other stone, according to their birth, with the work of an engraver in stone, like the engravings of a signet. Shalt thou engrave the 2 stones with the Shemot, with the names of the Bnei Yisrael. Thou shalt make them to be set in oches of gold, and thou shalt put the 2 stones upon the shoulders of the ephod, for stones of memorial to the Bnei Yisrael, to the sons and children of Yisrael. And Aharon and Aaron shall bear their names lifnei Yahuwah, before Jehovah, upon his 2 shoulders, for a memorial. And here, Shema Yisrael, here, for the Sheni Aliyah, here for the second Aliyah, for this Shabbat, Shabbat, Tetzaweh, Sabbath, thou, male, shall command. Here picking up with the second book of Moshe, Hebrew book called Exodus chapter 28, here at verse 13, Chabarim, verse 13 for the Sheni Aliyah. We'asita Misha Be'ot Zahav, and thou, the eye, shall make oches of gold. We'asita Misha Be'ot Zahav, and thou shall make settings of gold. We'asita Misha Be'ot Zahav, and 2 chains of pure gold at the ends of wreathen work shalt thou make them, and fasten the wreathen chains to the oches. We'asita mi sheba'ota zahav u'ashteya shara sharota zahabat ahora mia gebalota ta'isse otama ma'isseya evot natataha hatta shara sharotaha evotota alaha misha be'ot, and 2 chains of pure gold of plaited thread shalt thou make them of wreathen work, and thou shalt put the wreathen chains on the settings. Ha-Choshen, the breastplate, verse 15. And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod, thou shalt make it of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen shalt thou make it. We'asita choshena mishpot ma'iseya choshev Ma'isseya ephod ta isenu zahaba tikeleta we argamana we tolaata shani we sheisha mashazara ta isse oto. 4 square it shall be, being doubled. Ravu'ah yihye ka full Zareta arko we zareta rachbo. 4 square it shall be, doubled. A span shall be the length thereof, and a span shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt set in its settings of stone, even 4 rows of stone. The first row shall be a sardis, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This shall be the first row, and the second row shall be an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond, and the third row a lingeret, an agate, and an amethyst, and the 4th row a beryl, and an onyx, and a jasper. They shall be set in gold in their enclosings. And the stones shall be with the names, the Shemot of the Bnei Yisrael, of the sons of Yisrael, 12. According to their names, like the engravings of a signet, everyone with his name shall they be, according to the 12 tribes. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate ha-Choshen chains at the ends, wreathen work of pure gold. And thou shalt make upon the breastplate ha-Choshen 2 rings of gold, and shall put the 2 rings on the 2 ends of ha-Choshen of the breastplate. And thou shalt put the 2 wreathen chains of gold in the 2 rings which are on the ends of ha-Choshen, the breastplate, and the other 2 ends of the 2 wreathen chains thou shalt fasten in the 2 oches, the 2 settings, and put them on the shoulder pieces of ha-ephod, the ephod before it. And thou shalt make 2 rings of gold, and thou shalt put them upon the 2 ends of ha-Choshen, the breastplate, in the border thereof, which is in the side of ha-ephod, the ephod inward. And 2 other rings of gold thou shalt make, and shalt put them on the 2 sides of ha-ephod, the ephod underneath, towards the fore part thereof, over against the other coupling thereof, above the curious girdle of ha-ephod, the ephod. And they shall bind HaChoshen, the breastplate, by the rings thereof, to the rings of Ha-ephod, with a lace of blue, that may be above the curious girdle of Ha-ephod, and that HaChoshen be not loose from Ha-ephod. And Ahiram shall bear the names, the Shemot of the Bnei Yisrael, of the sons, the children of Yisrael, in HaChoshen, in the Choshen Mishpat, the breastplate of judgment, upon his heart, when he goeth in to the holy, for a memorial, Lifnei Yahuwah, before Jehovah, continually, itinually. With Nasa Herona Eta Shemota Bnei Yisrael Choshena HaMishpot Ala Libo Vo Aela HaKodesh Li Zikarona Lifnei Yehovah Tami the Urim and Tumim, the Urim and Tumim, verse 30. And thou shalt put in the breastplate of judgment, the Urim and the Tumim, and they shall be upon Aharon, Aaron's heart, when he goeth in Lifnei Yehovah, before Jehovah, and Aharon, Aaron shall bear the judgment of the Bnei Yisrael, the children of Israel, upon his heart, Lifnei Yahuwah, before Jehovah, continually. Where natata ela choshen hamishpota eta haurim veeta hatumim. Where hayu Allah lev Aharon bevoa lifnei Yehovah. We nasaron eta mishpat bnei Yisrael al libo lifnei Yehovah tami.
The sounds call the return of the 10 commandments, yeah. We don't want no man-made law, neither no Babylon law. Forward the 10 commandments, say that you be forward of the 10 commandments. Do away with the Babylon law, take back your Babylon law. Say give me back the 10 commandments. Forward of the 10 commandments, I would tell it to you. Take back your put mental, your ornament, and forward the 10 commandments, I would tell you. Say pray with the Babylon law, say fire for the Babylon law, away with the Babylon law, away with the Babylon law. But Jah is the judge and Jah no judge no one. Jah never ready to judge no one yet, and yet still they have man a judge, man, and Jah the only judge. In this a judgment I would say, cause why me tell you same time to come. Everyone have to, every tub have to sit down on them one bottom. Everyone have to go talk for themselves. You know, everyone have to go testify for themselves. So no one of it judge no one that is wrong, as I would tell it to you one time. You say go away with the Babylon law, say forward the 10 commandments. Go away with the Babylon law, and forward the 10 commandments. According to Moses' line, say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Man, may I tell you say it sound kinda cute, but at the truth, nobody blame the youth, because boy, the man him like a brute. Go away with the Babylon law, say forward the 10 commandments. Babylon law is a flaw, and then deal with partiality, and that's no mentality, as I would really tell you one time. Go away with the Babylon, go with the Babylon, go away with the Babylon law, away with the Babylon law, go astray with the Babylon law. Say run away with the Babylon law, run away, I don't want you to stay, so leave the hero I say, you know. We no dog are invited, no bone are provided. The forward the 10 commandments and take back your ornament. Say forward up the 10 commandments and take back your accoutrement and your ornamentals. Downward don't come into that was it. Yeah. Blessed be the one that mind them one business, lip service. Come like my daily news, I'm a chant public report time, I feel information every day, and I run up the mouth and I mind people business and don't want to uplift himself. I'm a lip service, I would say. Lip service. Who want the New Testament, everyone.
So right here, we have a psalm. Psalm 121. Here, Psalm 121.
Come be a part of.
All right, Jay, Atlanta Jew Society.
Where Hebrew feels like home.
So right here, Psalm 121, 121st Psalm right here. The theme of the psalm, one of the themes of the psalm right here. In the hard copy, God the helper. Yahweh, Jehovah, Yahweh the helper. Right here we have the consolation of divine protection. Here the consolation of Elohim's protection. So right here, let's ride up right here. Yeah, just look at the time, the time be moving fast. But check it.
Psalm 121.
Whoa.
מזמור קכ"א שיר למעלות.
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help.
אשא עיני אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי.
My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth.
עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמים וארץ.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
אל ייתן למות רגליך.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
אל ינום שומרך.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל.
The Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil, he shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore.
To understand why we people in the condition of poverty and slavery, based up, jacked up mentality. Blind eyes can't see, no, blind ears don't see. Me find it in a Genesis, make me try back and try to understand this. A man named Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, him did have 12 sons with enough children. 70 souls was all of them. Gone down in Egypt, they multiply. Word of the Most High could I never lie. After much time, remember them. Moses down there, so fi deliver them. There was only one problem, say only one one problem. Israel love them idolatry, them captivity, them poverty and harlotry. Why do the people perish? Do you understand this? The feminists will ask the most high, cause we really want to understand why. Why do the people perish? Do you understand this? Go on your knees and ask the most high if you really want to understand why. When them walk out, them was ungrateful. When them walk out, them was unfaithful. Made a covenant, them never really keep it. Said the words, but them never really mean it. Mount Sinai was not a secret. 10 words, glory, we did see it. What's wrong with Israel? What's wrong with Israel? Why do the people perish? Do you understand this? The feminists will ask the most high, cause we really want to understand why. It's time to turn around. Do you hear the sound? Time to turn around. Do you hear the sound? Time to turn around. Do you hear the sound? Get down, bend down, lay down, face on the ground. No time for play around. No time for games, can't mess around. Are we are the problem? Are we always the cause then? Turn it back on the creator. I know why we are the ones to say Babylon a hater. Them coulda never touch your 90. Them coulda never touch the one who the most high appointed. How we fall from grace, we turn your face. No what time for turn back and win the race. Why do the people perish? Do you understand this? The feminists will ask the most high, cause we really want to understand why.
Shanizzle Records right there. Sojourner, Sister Sojourner. That was Understand This Psalm 37 rhythm right there. Sojourner. Understand this psalm. Beautiful psalm right there. They're there. Yeah. We say Babylon are the hater, but we turn our back on the creator. So who is the real hater? Anyway, right here. Today's daily psalm, we have Psalm 121. Today's daily psalm here in the season, reason for the season here. Here we're at this 20th sabbatical study, Shabbat strong. Sabbath thou shalt command, Shabbat Tetzaweh. So here we have today's daily psalm, Psalm 121. Right? The I will lift up my eyes to the hills, to the hills, to the hills, to the hills. I was looking over these notes right here. Kind of interesting right here, the Song of Degrees. So here we have Mizmor, Kof Kaf Aleph. Hebraically in the Hebrew Aleph numerics, the Hebrew Aleph is Hebrew, Alpha is Greek, the Alpha numerics, the Hebrew Aleph numerics, Mizmor Kof, 100, Kaf, 20, Aleph, 1, Mizmor or Tehillim, Psalm 121, Mizmor Kof, Kaf, Aleph or Tehillim. Why? Tehillah. Right? Tehillah is like the praise, 121. The book is known as Sefer Tehillim. The Tehillim is linked to the Hallel, like the praise, the boast, yes. So here in the book of the Psalms, we have Psalm 121, Psalm CXXI, theme, God the Helper, Yahweh Ha-Ozer, Yahweh Ha-Ozer, Yahweh the Helper, right? One of the most popular hymns in the Psalter. So here, let's bring this over here so you can see this over here. Opening verse right here. Song of Degrees. KJV says a Song of Degrees. I will lift up mine eyes to the hills. From whence cometh my help? Now it's interesting because some put this as a question. It's interesting, the KJV is actually a period. It's not like a question, right? Some interpret this as, I'll lift up mine eyes to the hills. From where cometh my help, right? The sense of I lift up mine eyes to the mountains. asking the question, from where shall my help come? Right? From where shall my help come? Here, kind of a translator's note there, I will, or shall I? It's interesting in the Hebrew that can be brought out. It's not quite the way the English translates it, but shall I lift up mine eyes to the hills? Esa ainaya el heharim. Esa, to lift up. Will I lift up? Esa anai el heharim. Shall I lift up my eyes to el heharim, to the harim. Harim, el heharim, to the mountains. Right? Me'ayin. Yabo, Ezri, whence, like from where, Mayin, Yabo, to come, he come, Ezri, my help. This is more like according to the spirit of the Hebrew. Here it's kind of strange to notice that in the KJV, they actually have it as a statement. A song of degrees, I will lift up mine eyes to the hills, comma, from whence cometh my help. The way it's translated here for period or full stop, it's like a statement. In the next verse, it says, my help cometh, right? My help from Yahweh who made the heavens and earth. So more properly, this is a question here. It's actually kind of a double question, as the note brings out right here. Like, lift up my eyes to the hills. Will I lift up my eyes to the hill? From where should my help come? From where cometh my help, or should my help come? Well, my help is from Yahweh, he who be, who made the heaven and earth. In a way, it just seems to I. Maybe it's not that way, but it seems the way the translation is here, ones might start to confuse the hills with Yahweh on that level right there, right? While the actual proper translation of it is like, not that I will lift up, but should I lift up my eyes to the hills? From where really does my help come? My help really comes from Yahweh. This is the sense of it right here. So here, and just looking over some of the commentary notes right here, thought it was kind of interesting right here. The song upon the steps, as we call this, a song of degrees or a song of ascents. Upon that, Yahweh leads the righteous up into the other world. You know how people start to interpret the degrees part. It says song of degrees in the KJV, that is the ma'alot, the going up, right? The homeward caravans or the pilgrimage. Now, rightly interpreted, when we rightly in the Hebrew context, we can see this psalm right here, Psalm 121, as the 15 Psalms in the set. So from Psalm 120 to Psalm 134 is the songs of ascents, the songs that are known as the Shir HaMa'alot, the songs of the Ma'alot, the Aliyahs, the going up, the pilgrim psalms, often interpreted as the pilgrim psalms right here, right? And we have, let's see right here, another little note right here, Hama'alot. It says, okay, I get what they're saying, right? This is not a Shir Hama'alot, but it's a Shir La Ma'alot. So in other words, as you see right here in the notes, it says, those who explain the Hebrew there, Hama'alot, of the homeward caravans or of the pilgrimage, rightly regard this psalm here is not Ha Ma'alot, but it's La Ma'alot. So it's not the goings up, the degrees, Ma'alot, but it's actually for, right? Or of, in the sense, for, of, Le Ha Ma'alot, La Ma'alot. So there's a little difference here, and this only occurs like once in the Psalter, right? So all these 15 Psalms, there's a group of 15 Psalms from 120 to 134. Each of them bears the basic title of Shir, a song, HaMa'alot, of the degrees of the ascension. And only in today's daily Psalm 121 is it different, right? Instead of Shir HaMa'alot, it's Shir La Ma'alot. So the difference in English would be a song of the ascents, Shir HaMa'alot, and here it's Shir La Ma'alot, the song for the ascent. So song of the ascents, of the goings up, and song for the goings up. So the only difference in the set of these 15 psalms we have from 120 to 134 is in the title, the inscription of today's daily Psalm 121. That's why it says occurring only once, as favoring their explanation. But the Lamed, you hear the difference? Shir ha ma'alot, different than shir la ma'alot. So ha, the, right? La, for, right? So the Lamed, that's the letter name of the L in Hebrew. The Lamed is that of the rule or standard. Now, the most prominent distinguishing mark of today's daily psalm, right here, verses 1 to 8, is the step-like movement of thoughts. So these psalms, these 15 psalms, right, 120 to 134, Shir HaMa'alot and the one LaMa'alot, right? The songs of the goings up, the sense of the going up or degrees is the pilgrim. 3 times in a year shall all the males of Israel appear in the place that Yahweh Shemo Sham. Shemo, his name, Sham, his name there, where he sets his name there. So the 3 times in a year, the pilgrim psalms, right? But the thing that's distinguishing about this psalm here, right, today's daily Psalm 121, Mizmor Kof Kaf Aleph, is the step-like movement. As we study this psalm right here, is the movement of the thoughts. Now, it's kind of interesting when we talk about the ma'alot, the ma'ala, right? Even the word ma'ala means to ascend, right? A step, also like thoughts in the sense of thoughts going up, right? It is formed la ma'alot, after the manner of movements, the manner of steps. So some are saying, why does this one psalm out of 15 psalms has this one difference? Instead of shir ha ma'alot, the song of going up, of pilgrimage, of ascension, here this one is shir la ma'alot, for the going up, not shir ha ma'alot, song of the ascension, but song for thee, not of the, but for the. That difference right there, right? They say, well, here's after the manner of steps, right? You know, taking one step, following the next, and coming to a higher height. In this psalm here, it's like the movement, right, through the psalm of thought, like the thought going to a higher, step by step to a higher, right, height. The view that we have a pilgrim song before us, some say is opposed by the beginning, because the pilgrimage, you know, the times of going up to Jerusalem, you know, and these psalms here use the pilgrimage. They say, well, this psalm, the content here seems to be different from the very beginning, the opening verse. That leads one to infer a firmly limited range of vision, right? And therefore a fixed place of abode and far removed from his native mountains. Then it talks about the arrangement of the psalm, you know, the verses, how the verses are lined up for those musically. Now, here, I just went over this just briefly here and thought it was interesting because this Torah reading and feeding we have Ezekiel. So when I see these patterns, I say, is there similarity here? This psalm in this Shabua where we have the Haftarah come from Ezekiel. So here it says the expression, in fact, here, because here up here it was saying that some of the scholars from before in the Greek and everything had kind of messed up their interpretation, their meaning. They didn't get the Hebrew quite right. You know, they misapprehended, you know, what is era of the LXX, right? But the expression here is in fact Essa. We're about to touch on this just now. So Essa, the first Hebrew you see, Essa means I will lift up. I am lifting up, I will lift up. The next word where it says and not, the next Hebrew word, Nasati. Nasati means I have lifted up, like a past tense. So one is the present future tense. Esa, I'm lifting up, I will lift up, Esa. And the other one is Nasati, which means I have already done that, right? So it was just correcting, you know, the interpreters here were correcting some previous misconception. That's why I like to go to these notes here, because once you learn how to read it, it's very interesting. You can learn a lot and verify it for yourself. And the mountains towards that the psalmist here in Psalm 121 raises his eyes are not any mountains whatsoever. In Ezekiel, here, Yechezkiel, right, the designation of his native land from the standpoint of Mesopotamian plain is the mountains of Israel. So here, trying to show that Ezekiel was in captivity, but then, right, the designation from his native land, right, from the standpoint of the Mesopotamian plain, he was in Mesopotamia, the Aram Naharaim over there in like the Iraq, Iran kind of area, right? The mountains of Israel. So he still was in the perspective of his homeland. His longing gaze is directed toward the district of these mountains. So even in captivity, he was looking from captivity, towards his native land, right? They are his Qibla, the Qibla, where they say the direction of prayer, the sight point of his prayer, as you see in Daniel, when Daniel opened up his window and he was praying, facing Jerusalem, Daniel 6:11, right? To render from which my help cometh, as Luther does, right, is inadmissible because here, this Hebrew here is me'ayin, is an interrogative, right? Interrogative, right? In I think that's that Joshua, yeah, that's Joshua 2 and 4. Joshua, give me one moment, peeps, right? Why tikah ha isha eta shnei ha nashima wa titza pino wa tomer rekeina Ba'u Elai, Cain Ba'u Elaya Hanashima Wiloa Yadaiti Me'ayin Hema. Let's get this in the English so we can understand what these notes are saying here. So here it says, and the woman took the two men, okay, this is the Rahab, right, and hid them and said thus, there came men to me, but I wist not whence they were. That's that old English. I didn't know. I didn't know from where they were. Right. So the word whence here is ayin. This is ayin. It looks like the word for like I. The only difference is the first Hebrew letter. In English, they're both A sounds. This is ayin, ayin, ayin. While the other one for I is ayin, ayin, ayin. Right. So it looks similar in the English, but this is like where. Right. So it's an interrogative. It's like a question. Right. Where the question is an indirect one. Right. That means that the proper translation should be a question mark. That's why I was looking at the King James, and it's like I first saw it there. I'm just wait. I said, why is there a period there? From saying the Hebrew and even the Amharic and other languages, like it's more of a question, right? In the English, it sounds like he's talking about Yahweh and the mountains, like they have something to do together. No, it's the contrast. It's a question, right? The poet looks up to the mountains of his native land, the holy mountains. And what's interesting here, in some of these other psalms, two of them being part of the songs of degrees, 133 and 3, 137 and 1 is outside of these 15 songs, but 125 and 2 is within it. When he longingly asks whence, from where, may ayin, yabo ezri, whence, from where will my help come? Right? It's a question. Right? But then if you look in the KJV, it's a period there, which makes a statement. It's almost like say, I'm looking up to the hills, my help is coming from those hills. You know what I'm saying? While the Hebrew is more like, shall I lift up my eyes to the hills? From where, like, really does my help come? My help really comes from Yahweh. Right? To this question, his longing desire itself returns the answer that his help comes from no other quarter, not from the mountains. Yes, should look up to the mountains, but really, where does my help come from? Right? My help comes from no other quarter than from Yahweh, the maker, the Koneh, right? Hashemayim wa'aretz, the maker, the possessor of the heavens and earth, from his, right? From his and from he who sits enthroned behind and upon the mountains, right? Whose helpful power reaches to the remotest ends and corners of his creation, right? And with that right there in the Hebrew is the im, like we say imanu, im means with, right? With whom? im, with whom is help, both the willingness and the power to help, so that therefore help comes from nowhere but from, and then this word here is mean. So what the reasoning is here is that by properly looking at the parts of the speech here, we can get the proper context. But sometimes the translators, sometimes maybe they tried their best back in 1611 or something like that. But give thanks that we can do better. We can know more, know better, and do better, right? So the sense of that word there, mean, means from. So one sense here we have is with, im, with whom my help comes, and my help comes mean, from him alone. So in Psalm 121 and 1, just to break the psalm down right here, it's little, but it's very important to get a right interpretation. In Psalm 121 and 1, the poet, and I rising up the chant, has propounded a question. See, that's why I kept saying that, man, something about this the way the KJV here, this we have to say is also a false translation, just to keep it a buck. You know what I mean? Because it's a question, right? Whence? From whence? From whence is say from where? Now, if you read that as a statement, it would imply that my help comes from the hills, right? If you read it as a question, well, then this is the question. This is the question. It's not saying, shall I? Therefore, the I will has to be in the context of spirit, not the letter of the law, but the spirit. Shall I lift up mine eyes to the hills? Esa ainai il heharim? Me'ayin yabo ezri. From where cometh my help? From where really does my help really come? Right? And now it's a good thing I went over these notes because, first time I kind of brought out that the 121, right, verse 1 in the KJV is a false translation because it presents the statement as a statement for a period instead of as a question. You see what I'm saying? And now when looking at the Hebrew, we don't even need a question mark in the Hebrew, but in the reading of the Hebrew, the spirit of it, the question comes out, right? So when I looked at the KJV, I said, I was expecting to see a question mark, but the full stop is where the falsity comes in, right? So the poet has propounded a question. You see where it says in Psalm 121 and 1, the poet, the author, Psalm 121, propounding a question, right? If you look in the King James Version, right, 121 and 1, do you see a question mark? Maybe it's in another version. I don't know. But, I don't see it there, what we have before us. And in the next verse, replies to this question himself. So let's look at this once again. So over here, before we even get into the heart of it, let me go light for y'all. Right? You see right there? Do you see a question mark there? There's no question mark. It's a statement. Right? You know what I mean? It's almost like, it's only in the sense the translation is somewhat idolatrous. You know what I mean? I will lift up mine eyes to the hills from whence cometh my help. It's only that my help is coming from the hills. And then when you see my help, right, now they add that word cometh. You see the word cometh? You see the word cometh there? That's false too, because the italicized words are not there in the Hebrew. We already proven this over and over again. And even in the New Testament, the majority of places italicized words, they're not there in the Greek. All right. So it's like somebody was translating it, but then adding, I guess, their own, this is more correct here. Shall I lift up mine eyes to the hills? From where should my help come? Or in the sense of, from where really does my help come? That's the spirit of it, right? From really, where does my help, really, where does my help come from? Oh, he answers it. Second verse right there. My help from Yahweh, who made the heavens. Actually, that's another false translation there too. Because it's Shemayim, is heavens and earth. Would it have hurt them just to add an S behind heaven? Would have hurt, would have been too much on the printers, and the Gutenberg printing press. Well, I don't know if it was Gutenberg, but King James has it like this right here, right? Now, the poet has propounded a question. So the first one should be a question. In fact, I'm going to go over my Bible and actually put a question mark in there, so I won't misread it. Anybody else coming after me, they might be like, why is this question Spirit hopefully will give them the answer, right? In the second verse, it replies to this question himself. That's important to get the context. I lift up my eyes to the hills from where my help comes. It almost sounds like that my help has come from the hills. Chan. Right? The poet has propounded a question and replies to this question himself. In the third verse of today's daily psalm, Mizmor Kof Kaf Aleph, right? And further, the answering one goes on speaking to the questioner. The answering one, right? The poet is himself, right? Himself become objective. And his ego, calm in Yahuwah, promises him comfort by unfolding to him the joyful prospects contained in that hope, that expectation in Yahuwah. Now, the subjective al, that's al there, as subjective, expresses a negative in both cases with an emotional rejection. So the subjective, when it says that he will not suffer, when we get to that third verse, al titain lamot ragleka, he will not suffer thy foot to be moved. The Hebrew is like, may he not suffer. But the real sense of it is that he will not, nay, nah, cannot possibly. That's the sense of the subjective al. Al, that's al. There's al for you. Al, right? Al titain. Al, not, right? Al yitain. He will not yitain. He give al yitain. The subjective expresses a negative in both cases with an emotional rejection of that is absolutely impossible. So when we're reading it in English, he will not suffer thy foot to be moved. Yeah, it does translate like that, but the Hebrew of the subjective negative is like he will not, cannot possibly, right? Cannot. This is one thing he cannot possibly do. Right? So the poet says to himself, he will indeed surely not abandon thy foot to the tyrant. He cannot, he will not. Lamot, as we have in Psalm 66 and 9 and Psalm 55 and 23. The Hebrew there is lamot, to be tottered, to be shaken, right? Thy keeper will surely not slumber, and then confirms the assertion that this shall not come to pass by heightening the expression in accordance with the step-like character of the song. Right? Behold, the keeper of Yisrael, Shomer, right? The Shomer Yisrael, right? The keeper of Yisrael slumbereth not and sleepeth not. He does not fall into slumber because, he's just weary, tired, right? And his life is not an alternate waking and sleeping. So for Yahweh, it's not like for us, we have to get some rest, you know what I'm saying? But for him, it's not like, the alternation of waking and sleeping. No, the eyes of his providence, Yahweh Yireh, Yah Yireh, Jehovah Jireh, his providence, his provider, his providence, right? Providence are ever open over Yisrael. So this is just a little overview right here, right? Happy we went over that right here, because the Spirit just pointed to something at that first verse, the KJV, the consolation of divine protection. So right here, if we will, right, today's daily psalm is more of Kaf Aleph, Elohim, Yahweh, the helper. One of the most popular hymns in the Salsa, a perfect expression of trust in Yahweh. This psalm has been on the lips of countless men and women through the generations when they felt the need of help beyond that which mortals, men, and people could or even would provide, right? Or would even offer, or could even offer, much less provide, right? It was likely sung, this psalm, it says daily psalm 121, it was sung antiphonally. What do you mean by antiphonally? A call and response. So this psalm is also like a call and a response by a group of pilgrims as they approach the holy city. So this is a pilgrim psalm, right? This is one of the pilgrim psalms, Psalm 120 to 134, the songs of degrees, the songs of ascents. So here. This psalm, how do we go through this psalm right here? It's a 2-2-2-2, right? 2 and 2 and 2. So every two verses. Verses 1 to 2, the help that comes from Yahweh. Verses 3 to 4, the sleepless guardian, Yahweh, right? 5 to 6, the divine protection. Verses 7 to 8, Yahweh's care, assured, always faithful, always sure. So right here, let's begin with the Aleph first. KJV wise, a song of degrees. Hit that word degree. Ma'ala. As we were saying, ma'ala. What comes up? Ma'ala. Ma'ala. What's a ma'ala? A step, a steer. What's a ma'ala? What comes up? It could be thoughts, stories, ascent. As we have the songs of ascent, the three great pilgrim feast festivals, 3 times in a year where the males of Yisrael were to present themselves. Ma'ala. Ma'ala is also an elevation. Ma'ala is like a journey to higher heights, right? Literally, right? And during pilgrimage, going to Jerusalem was literally a journey to higher heights, but also in spirit, in the second of the two truths, in spirit and in truth, figuratively, it's like thoughts rising up, right? Also like a condition, like a step, a grade mark, like going to higher heights is like figuratively like a superiority of station. You're getting to a higher height, right? And also the sense of ma'ala is a progression, a progressive going up that we have in certain psalms, as we have right here in the songs of degrees. But this one is the one that's different than the other 14 from 120 to 134, because this one says right here, a shir, it's a shir la ma'ala. It should have said a song 4 degrees, 4, like 2 degrees, 4 degrees, like 4 the degrees, 4 the going up. I will lift up mine eyes, KJV reads, I lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence cometh my help, and there's a period, and that's bad. Let's look around a little bit, right? We have some other, the NET says, I look up toward the hills, from where does my help come? That's more better there. I will lift up mine eyes to the hills. You see that? Where? Whence means from where? Whence, right? Right? Where does my help come from? Let's scroll down here, right? WEB. I will lift up mine eyes to the hills. Where does my help? You see all that question mark, question mark, question mark. Though the Hebrew, we didn't really have these question marks, but the tone of what's being said, the spirit of the language tells us the question mark, right? There's a question here. I lift up mine eyes to the hills. From where does my help come? The only one that you see, the easy English, my goodness. When I look up to the hills, I find no help there. Now, the easy English basically just interpolated it, right? And it just kind of interpolated, not an interpretation like somebody like chewed it out and spit it out, right? But they didn't really interpret it. Mine eyes are lifted up to the hills, but the sense of it is correct, but it's not really a good translation, but the sense of it. Oh, where will my help come from? Sort of. So, but here, let's get to the Hebrew here. Without much further ado, let's get to the Hebrew. Right? Let's go up here, right here. Shir la ma'alot. Esa ainai ilaheharim me'ayin yabo ezri. Right? As a question. Shir la ma'alot. Remember, this is the only one of the 15, right? That's la ma'alot. The other ones are ha ma'alo, a song of the degrees, right? Of the ascents, right? The other ones are song, right? Song or for the ascents, la ma'alo, for the ascents, like for going up, right? Shir la ma'alot, esa ainai ilahe harim, il to harim, to the hars. The mount har is a mountain. Harim is mountains. May ayin, may from ayin, from whence, from where? May ayin, yabo, he go, he enter in. May ayin, from where will he come, enter in? Ezri, Where would Ezri, my Ezer help? Ezri, my help. I want to show you this right here. Remember talking about the word whence? Look, this is a beautiful verse because we can show you it all in this one verse. So you see ayin, right? Why, understanding the hard and soft sounds in Hebrew. This is ayin, me'ayin, 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 soft, aleph, me'ayin, right? Right? And it means whence, where, me'ayin, in the sense of query, like an inquiry, like a question, right? A query, whence, where, may, from, ayin, from where. Right? Now notice the word for eyes. You see the eyes is H5869. Look at that right here. You see, if you look at the English, it looks the same, right? The transliteration, it looks the same. It's AYIN. But this is not ayin. Ayin is ayin, like ayin, ayin. The other one is ayin, soft ayin and ayin. Ayin, hard and soft. But it's beautiful because this one verse has both of these sounds here, right? But here, once again, from the Hebrew, Shir la ma'alot. Esa ainai ilahe harim. Me'ayin yabo Ezri. Here, help comes from Yahweh, he who be, who he be. So the opening verses were said to be sung by the lead of the group. Remember, these are songs of degree, songs of ascents, songs of the Ma'alot, right? Here, songs of ascent to the three pilgrim feasts, the festivals, namely unleavened bread, harvest, and tabernacles, the 7 feasts at the 3 times of the year, the 3 pilgrim feasts, right? So here, this is said to be the opening by the leader of the group. So the leader of the group, Shir Lama Alot. Esa Ainai He Ilahe Harim. Me'ayin Yabo Ezri would open up with this opening verse. The mountains, right? What are the mountains? Here, the King James says hills. Hill, mountain. I would more default to the word mountain, being a little better here. A mountain, like a mountain range of hills. See, there's a mountain range, and in that mountain range, there are hills, but it's a mountain. You see what I'm saying? So the hills are like the little, the ebbs and flow, but overall, the big one is the mountain range. So here, Ilaha Harim, right? Upon that, Jerusalem was situated. Yerushalayim, was situated upon mountains, right? The mountains round about Yerushalayim. So we have Psalm 137, verse 1. Well, actually, slicker. We have Psalm 87, misread the Roman numerals. Psalm 87 and 1, right? We have Psalm 125 and 1, verse 2, right? We also have Psalm 133, roundabout verse 3, for this connection of mountains and Jerusalem, as we have in today's daily psalm. May ayin, right? I will lift up Ainai, right? Ainai, Esa. Now the word Esa, to all the people running around saying that NASA means to deceive, NASA in Hebrew does not mean to deceive. Right? That sounds funny, right? No, Nasa in Hebrew doesn't mean to deceive, right? That's not the meaning. It means to lift, to bear, to take up. It can also mean to forgive in a certain sense. When Yahweh, he's called the God who forgives. El Noseh, El, the Almighty, Noseh, the forgiver, from Nasa, right? Literally, it means to lift up, right? So this here, Esa, I lift up, I will lift up. Should I lift up? Esa ainai. Should I lift up ainai, my eyes, my ain, right? Ilahe harim, to the mountains. Me'ayin. From ayin, from where Yabo, right, cometh, right, or enters in. Ezri, my Ezer, right? My Ezer, my help, right? Ezri, my help. Ezer, help. Ezer, help. Ezri, my help. So what do we have here? The question is only asked to elicit the answer that follows. So remember, in the idea, like the call and the response, right, coming forward right here. So this is a better translation here. The translators know. Shall I lift up mine eyes to the hills or to the mountains? Where should, right? Like, where does my help, like the senses really come? The word really is not there. The word should is not there, but the spirit of it is there that makes it a question and not a statement, right? So the answer that follows here, once again, Shir la ma'alot. Esa ainai illa harim. Me'ain yabo ezri. Here to the Beit verse, the second verse right here. Here's the answer to the question. My help from Yahweh. Word cometh is not there. That made heaven and earth. Right? That made the heavens. That made the heavens actually and the earth. Here the Hebrew Ezri, my help, may from with, like from with Yahweh. Ezri me'im Yahweh. Say, the maker. Say, the maker. One of, we can say, an attribute of Yahweh. He who be, who he be. He be Ha Osei. Ha Osei. Osei. He the maker. You like to say to make, right? Yahweh Osei, maker of Shemayim, the heavens, Wa'aretz, and the earth. The heavens and the land. Literally the heavens and the land. You know, the double arches of the heavens, you know, in the daytime is double actually. You see that? Right? Ezri me'im Yahweh Osei Shemayim Wa'aretz. What do we have here? Who made? The identification of he who he be, Yahweh, who he be the maker. Ha Osei. He be the maker of Shemayim, the heavens, Shemayim, Wa and Aretz, and the land and the earth. The existence of the universe, the universally speaking, is the work of his hands. This is witness to his power. This is the witness's power to being able to help, right? To being Ezri, my helper, right? A witness to his power to aid, to help, to assist. We have a similar idea in Psalm 115, Chabarim, round about verse 14, verse 15. So right here, the second verse, Ezri me'im Yahuwah Osei Shemayim Wa'aretz. Here to the next section, we have the Gimel. So the next two verses 3 and 4, the section, the sleepless guardian. He, speaking of he who be Yahweh HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be he will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Here. Allah yiteina lamot aragleka. Allah Yanum Shomreka. Here. Now, the remainder of the group or another member of it would respond. So the first two verses, like the leader would chant the first two verses, then the remainder of the group or another member in the call and response, that antiphony, right, would respond right here. Al yitain lamot, right? Although the Hebrew negative is al, right? Now in the Hebrew, that's this right here. Let me just point it out right here. So you see that right there? That's al. Al means not. Al yitain. Al not yitain. He giving. Al yitain. So although the Hebrew negative here is al, there's another Hebrew negative that's low. So we have al is a negative and lo in Hebrew is a negative, right? Al and lo. Like in the commandments or the words of the command, you know, like where it says lo tirtzach, right? You know, lo tinaf, like don't murder, don't kill. lo tignov, lo, don't, right? But here we have al, right? So the Hebrew negative here is al and not lo. There is no need to render, like as the RV. The RV margin says, may he not suffer, right? May he that keep it. Its use here is what we call the subjective negative in Hebrew. With the meaning, it has a forceful meaning. So it's not like the KJV says, he will not suffer thy foot. Okay, yeah, but really the Hebrew is al yitain lamot. Literally, he will not give, right, to be moving. He cannot possibly, he will not, nay, he cannot possibly give, right? Yitain, al yitain, right? He will not possibly, cannot possibly give. No, not, nay, right? Lamot, to be moved. Ragleka, your regal. Regal is foot, is a foot, right? Regal, ragleka. If I'm speaking to a man, I'm saying your male foot. Speaking to Israel all as one, right? Israel's foot, ragleka, right? Ragleka, your foot, right? To mot, to be shaken, to waver, lamot, right? To be shaken, right? So this is a more forceful sense right here, right? Second part of the verse says al, the next al is right here, right? The next subjective negative. Al Yanum, Al Yanum Shomreka, right? Al Yanum, right? He that keepeth the eye, right? Shomreka, that keepeth the eye, male. Al Yanum, right? Will not, cannot possibly, right? Nay, not, you cannot possibly sleep, cannot possibly slumber. So what we have here is the word noom in Hebrew. Noom. What is noom in Hebrew? Noom here is to be drowsy, to slumber, to sleep, to be drowsy, right? So when it says like al yanum, he cannot possibly, nay, nah, right? He will not, nay, he cannot possibly slumber. That's the force of the subjective negative in the Hebrew, right? Cannot possibly sleep, cannot possibly get drowsy, right? The guardian, your guardian cannot possibly, ever wake, right? Contrast this right here. You remember what Elijah said about Baal and the Baalim, the Baalim worship, the Baal people? Remember we said about the Baal, the Baalim? Remember the mocking of the words of Eliah, right? Elijah about Baal in First Kings. In First Kings chapter, what was that? That was chapter 18 and 27, right? Let me give you other contrast here, just quickly right here. First Kings. So it's important to understand the psalm, right, in light of the Hebrew thought, right? So when we read this here and we understand the scripts, we understand how it links, right? And whoever wrote this psalm right here for Yisrael, it links with other areas of the scripture to bring out the force of it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, that's what it says, study to show yourself approved, right? Like, because you can have some false conclusion about something because you just didn't read that over there. You didn't understand that in connection with this over here, right? All right. So right here it says, and it came to pass at noon. Remember this? Elijah, Eliah, right? Eliyahu mocked them, right? And he said, cry aloud, for he a God. Either he is talking or he is pursuing, or he is in a journey. Perhaps he's sleeping and must needs be awakened. Because remember, if you remember the scene here, if you don't, then check it out, right? He's like, lift up your voice. Maybe he's talking, maybe he's meditating. It's like today, it's like maybe your God is on the phone, maybe he's on the next line or something like that. You know what I mean? He's caught up. Maybe his phone's busy. This is when Elijah was mocking the priests of Baal, right? Started about noon. Eliyahu began to tease them. Shout louder. He's a God. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he's relieving himself. Yo, for real, when you look at the Hebrew, it does have that kind of sense. Maybe he's relieving. Maybe he's busy someplace. Maybe he's taking a nap, right? Or somebody somebody needs to wake him up. Now, if you go back to the encounter of Eliyahu, right, Elijah with the priest Jezebel's priest, the priest of Baal, right, Baal, right. This is why when you read on, they started to cut themselves. They started to take out their knives and started to cut them. They thought they had to give their blood or something to wake up their so-called God. You know what I mean? But this is the connection right here where it says he sleepeth. Peradventure he's sleeping. You know what I mean? Peradventure he's sleeping, right? Let's get that next one right here. He's in a pursuit. Or maybe he's like, maybe he's on the toilet or something like that. That's how strong Elijah was no joke. That's how strong it was. You know what I mean? Yeah. So right here, he says, Al yitena lamot ragleka ala yanum shomreka. So the sense of this here is that he will not suffer, cannot. The word suffer is not even suffer. Oh, I'm suffering. My heart suffer. No, the word is natan yitain. He will not give. You see that right there? Not suffer. He will not yitain, al yitain. He will not, cannot possibly, will not, cannot possibly give your foot to be moved, right? Al yanum, not, cannot possibly get drowsy. He won't get drowsy or fall asleep. Shomreka, the one who shamar the eye, the one who observes, who guards the eye. Right there, there to next verse, the Dalet verse right here. Right? Behold, look, see, here it is. He that keepeth Yisrael shall neither slumber nor sleep. Right? Neither slumber nor sleep. It shows in Hebrew we have a word for slumber and we have a word for sleep. Right? Hine loa yanuma veloa yishan shomer Yisrael. Hine is a beautiful word right here. It's bringing out from the Tanakh. Hine means like, they translate as behold, lo, see. It really means like, look, here it is. It has a sense of here it is. See, look, here it is. Hine, lo yanum, will lo yishan, shomer Yisrael. He will not yanum, slumber. He will not get drowsy. Remember, slumber, get drowsy, right? Nor, right, sleep, yishan. So we have the word noom, drowsy, right, slumbery, right, from drowsiness, and then yashain. Yashain is like to be sleep. Like when you feel a little drowsy, you feel like you're knocking out, but you're still a little bit awake, right? But then when you really knock out, that's the yashain. And usually, it can be a long time, wow, use it. Yeah, so this is the sense of sleep, right? So he will not get drowsy, right? And he will not sleep, right? Now notice here, we don't have the the subjective negative. No, he cannot. He will not, nay, not possibly. It's impossible. Here we have just lo, right? He nay, lo, yanum, right? Right? With lo, yishan, shomer Yisrael, right? So here we have the sense right here, right? This is the contrast to Elijah about Baal, right? In First Kings 18:27, right? The verse, right, it proclaims the lofty confidence, right, of those who trust in Yahweh, right? Eloheinu, the true creator of heaven and earth, right? So right here, these two verses here, right, leads us like yeah, the sense is more like not neither, but he doesn't. The sense here is almost like he never sleeps. So the ISV is a little more correct there when they say he never sleeps, right? And like he never slumbers, he never sleeps. You know what I mean? Like we say, you never scared, that way. But he never, he never slumbers, he never sleeps. Hine lo yanuma lo yishan shomer. Another key attribute here is the Shomer Yisrael. Who is Yahweh? Who is he who be who he be? He be Shomer, the guardian of Yisrael. Shomer Yisrael, the guardian of Israel. Now here, this leads us to the next section, verses 5 and 6, the divine protection, right? Divine protection. Yahweh, thy keeper, Yahweh, thy shade up on thy right hand. Yahweh Shomreka is the eye keeper. Shomreka, Yahweh Shomreka, Yahweh Zileka, Al Yad Yamineka, up on, right? He is thy shade, Zileka, Zileka, Sel. What do we have here? Zileka, the shade, the shadow. The sense of shadow and shade in this context is as protection, as guardian, because usually the champion would stand at one's right hand. That's the sense in the ancient world. The champion would stand at your right hand. You know what I mean? So that's why it says right here, Yahweh Sileka, right? Right? He who be who he be is thy shade, right? That guardian, that protection, all upon Yad, upon the hand, Yemineka, upon the hand of your right, right? Upon thy right, Yamin, Yamineka is for the right hand, and then it has the word Yad. But Yad, it means hand, but it can also, in a figurative sense, mean strength and power. See, in this sentence right here, it could have just in Hebrew, it could have just said Yahweh Silika, right? Al Yaminika, all upon Yaminika, upon your right hand. But here it says Yahweh Silika, he is the eye shade, all Yad upon the strength of your right hand, upon your hand, right hand, your hand on your hand, right hand. But in the Hebrew, the Yad can also be the power, right? As it says, death and life is in the power of the tongue. In the Hebrew, it's actually the word for power is hand. So therefore, here we can see this as Yahweh, right? Thy shade upon the power of your right hand. Check. So this section here, right, is said to be where the group making pilgrimage would sing, right? The shade, right? We had that in Psalm 91, right? You know, the shadow of the Almighty, right? The shade, the shadow, up on thy right hand. The position taken by one's champion. The position taken by one's champion. Compare this and contrast this with Psalm 109. Psalm 109, the cursing psalm, right? What some might call the cursing psalm, round about verse 30, verse 31, where those who had cursed and wished evil upon the beloved said, may Satan be at his right hand, right? That's to say that may Satan be your champion, which is basically saying like, you know, may you basically fail, right? So right here, let's go to the next verse. So Yahweh is your keeper, your observer, your guarder, right? Yahweh Shomreka, Yahweh Tzileka, Al Yad Yamineka. So here to the Vav, the wow verse right here. Remember this section right here, verses 5 to 6, right? Divine protection. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night, right? Your mom, Hashemesh, lo yakeka, we yareach balayla, we yareach balayla, nor the yareach. So here we have the little word for moon. And we talk about the Chodesh, they say the new moon, but the word is not really moon, but refers to the cycles, right? The waxing and waning, right? But the literal word for moon is Yareach, right? Yareach, right? So here, the word for moon. So here, your mom, right? Days, Hashemesh. What is the Shemesh? Here we have Shemesh, the sun. The Shemesh, right? The Shemesh is literally the word for sun in Hebrew, the Shemesh, right? Yomam HaShemesh. Days, the sun, Lo yakeka. Lo yakeka. What is yakeka? Will not knock you. So the sun in the days won't knock you, won't knock you out. Right? Yakeka. Right? It says what? It says your mom Hashemesh lo yakeka. Lo yakeka. Right? Will not knock you, will not knock you, will not strike you, will not hit you, will not slay you, will not stricken you, will not smite you, right? Will not scourge you, right? By days, And right, it says with Yareyach and the moon, Balayla, in the what? In the Lila, right? In the Lila, in the night, right? In the night. There we go, right there. In the night, right? There we go. So, what do we have right here, here? The metaphor of shade from the previous verse 5. Remember, the metaphor of shade is elaborated, right? So, in this psalm right here, from the 5th verse, where shade is mentioned, that metaphor is elaborated. We have Isaiah 49 and 10. Isaiah 49 and 10. Just quickly, Isaiah 49 and 10. Here we go, right here, 49 and 10. Let's get the epicenter verse. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat nor sun smite them. You see that saying? Smite them, hit them, knock them down, right? For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them. Even by the springs of water shall he guide them. Guidance and protection. So here we have the metaphor of the tsel, the shade, the danger from the moon, even in ancient times, was the form of what we call lunacy. The danger from the moon, right? We know sunstroke, but also the ultraviolet waves and all of that, right? The danger from the moon was said to be lunacy. This is the word revealing there was an old belief that the moon had the power in some cases to derange human reason. Sunstroke was naturally a common experience in East in Africa, of course, but in the East, right? East of the River Nile, Afro-Arabia, the Levant, what they call Palestine. This is a common experience during the subtropical summer. The subtropical summer. And this is also alluded to in Second Kings chapter 4 verse 19. 2 Kings chapter 4, right, verse 19, right? Let's look at, we get the allusion right here, right? Let's get the verse right here. And he said to his father, my head, my head. And he said to the lad, carry him to his mother. Oh yeah, that scene there. Yeah. Wayomer illa bio. Roshi. Wayomer illa hanaara. Saehu el imo. Saehu, carry him el imo to his imo, to his mother. Yes, and the boy was like, Roshi, my head, Rase, Roshi, right? And he knocked out. Some say that was a subtropical summer stroke. Now, since Yahweh, right, is the ruler of the forces of nature, since Yahweh Eloheinu, right, Ha Elohim, the nature of natures, is the ruler of the forces of the nature, right, of nature, he controls them so that the effects, right, are not harmful. So here we have this verse here. Your mom, Hashemesh, lo yakeka, we yareyach balayla. So here, last two verses here, the Zain and the Chet verse here. These verses is Yahweh's Kir, assured. In this lickle psalm, lickle batalawa psalm, Yahweh's Kir, assured, right? Yahweh shall preserve thee, right, from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. He shall preserve thy psyche. So now here in these last two verses is said to be the response of the other half of the group. It's like a group of pilgrimers, pilgrimers going forward, like singing the psalm, as they trotting, call and response. So right here, Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. Yahweh, Yishmarka, he who be who you be, Yishmarka, shall shamar the eye, Yishmarka, Yahweh Yishmarka Mikol Ra, from all evil. Yishmor eta nafsheka, right? Yishmor, he will guard, he will preserve, he will keep, right? Et nafsheka, he will keep your nefesh, your soul, thy psyche. So here, Yahweh Yishmarka, Mikol from all that rara, right? That evil, that bad, that unpleasant, right? Misery, hurt, harm, all of that under the ra, right? Right there. Calamity. Some interpret this that the all evil is like calamity, right? All evil, right? Yahweh Yishmarka Mikol Ra, from all evil in the context of all calamity. The addition of all, notice that word all, me call, from call, all, me call. The addition of call or all, it points to the comprehensiveness, right? The comprehensiveness of Yahweh's protective power. All, not just from maybe a couple of things, but other things, no, all is what? All, right? Life exposes man, the human being, to a great variety of mishaps, of haps and mishaps. But none are beyond Yahweh's sheltering care, right? Yahweh's sheltering care. Keep thy soul. He shall preserve thy soul. Right? So both preserving thee from calamity, bad, misfortune, and also preserving your psyche. The soul is the psyche, thereby guarding, thereby guarding thy life. Yishmor et nafsheka. Here, bringing us here to the final verse right here, the chet, the 8th verse, right? Completing this psalm here, Mizmor Of Kaf Aleph, Psalm 121. Here, the 8th verse. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Now, what's interesting about this psalm here is the word preserve, the shamar. Like when it says to keep, his way, to guard his way. If we guard his way, then he shamar. Then he guard I and I. This is the word right here, shamar. Right? Shamar, to keep, to guard, to observe, to keep, to watch, to protect. But let's scroll down here just to bring out this sense that's often missed. In the ancient sense of this word, properly it meant to hedge about. You see where it says properly to hedge about with thorns? You know what I mean? To hedge about with thorns. Right? So that sense of he will keep. Yes, he will guard. Yes, he will protect. But to put it in a word picture, it's like you're a precious flower, right? Like if you have precious flowers in your garden, any wise gardener, if you have some little foxes that like to be playful in your garden, what you would do is you would hedge it about with a certain type of, with thorns. So that sense of protecting, just to see the ancient literal sense, to hedge about with thorns. That's the Hebrew sense, to guard. So Yahweh tells us to shamor, right? Shamor, the Shabbat, right? To remember the Sabbath, to guard the Sabbath, to keep his way, right? And notice how many times in this psalm, the idea of preserve and keep, right? The Hebrew is the same word, preserve and keep is used throughout this psalm. Here in sealing it up, here in the final verse, Yahweh shall preserve, shall keep, right? Shall observe and preserve thy going out and thy coming in. From this time forth, this time forward, and even for evermore. Here, let's bring on the Hebrew. Yahuwah Yishmara Seitika Uboeka Me'ata We'ad Olam. Yahuwah Yishmar, he who be will preserve, right? Yahuwah will guard. Yahuwah Yishmar, he will Yishmar what? Seitika will preserve thy Yatzah and Seitika. Interesting thing about this word here, it's the same word in the Hebrew for Exodus. You're exiting, like you're going out from your house and you're coming in, going out in the day to do your business and coming back home, right, in the eve, right? Yahweh Yishmar Tzeitika U Boeka, and you're entering in, and you're coming in. U Boeka from Bo. Bo doesn't mean just to go, it means you go in. Bo don't mean, it means to enter, the sense of entering in. Bo don't mean just to come, it means really to come in. That's why it says thy coming in. So Yahweh Yishmar Seitika Uboeka. So the two aspects, Seitika, right? Boeka. Seitika, Boeka. Going out, Seitika, coming in, Boeka. Right? Yahweh Yishmar Seitika Uboeka. Right? Here. Right? May ata. From this time forth, they didn't even put in the blue letter word right there. This time forth. We have to take you down here to the Tanakh, because then each word is brought out. So here we have ata. This is not ata. Remember I said at the early part there is ein, the I, and there's ein, soft A, ein, hard A, ein. Ein is I, ein is like where, whence, like where. Same thing here, we have ata, not this ata, but ata that means like you male, the pronoun you male, ata. Then we have this ata, but really properly pronounced as ata. Ata, a hard A, ata. Ata mean like now, ata, right? Like now at the present time, right? At this time, ata, may ata, right? From this time, right? That's why they brought it out as may ata, with odd and going on. Odd means like to go as far as, it's a sense of continuance. When they say ad infinitum, like from now going on forever. So the sense of odd mean like going on, like continuing, right? Olam right here, the word for forever, until the forever past, forever future. The real sense of the olam in forever means time out of mind, past or future. The idea practically is eternity, but in the Hebrew, it means like time out of mind. But what it's really saying to us is that time is artificial. So Yahweh will protect you, and it says like ad olam, right? Until even time indefinite. That means even when there's no time, he's still the protector. So even if there's no time, if he cuts out time, there's no time no more. He is still protecting. That's the sense of forever, right? On the clock, and even when the clock is no longer relative, he is still at it, right? So that's the sense of the olam right there, time out of mind, So the idea of forever could be kind of funny, because remember the word forever can mean forever past or forever future. See, that's lost in translation. But right here, the first part of what we're bringing forward, Yahweh Yishmara Seitika Uboeka, right? Seitika, you're going out, Uboeka, and you're coming in. All thine affairs and undertakings. So the sense of thy going out, Seitika, you're exiting, like when you leave your house, Boeka, and you're entering back into your house. This brings out the sense of all one's of affairs and undertaking. Deuteronomy speaks the same language, like in Deuteronomy 20, was that 28 and 6, and Deuteronomy 31 and 2. it used this language of going out, that going out and that coming in, that going out, that coming in. This was like an idiom for like taking care of your daily business, leaving from early in the morning, like people go to work, or, early in the morning or school, and then they come in the evening. Yeah, or sometime in the day, right? So right here, going out. Let's touch on going out. Satika from the Yatsa. But here it's Satika, right? What do we have in Satika? Right? Going out refers to man's departure from his home to attend to his daily avocations. You're going forward from your gate to take care of your daily avocations. And boeka, right? The bow, right? Boeka. And you're entering in, right? You're coming in is to return. Is like to return home to Baita, to your house, and the fears of your household. So in the psalm right here, the Mizmor, Kof, Kaf, Aleph 121, in the psalm right here, there may also be an implied alluding, right, to the dangers of travel incurred in the pilgrimage. That's what's the key here too, since this is part of the one of the 15 songs of ascent pilgrim psalms from 120 to 134. What is also implied right here, right, since these psalms are applied to the pilgrimage, is the dangers, right, of travel that's incurred in the pilgrimage. How do we know this? Because Robenu, our rabbi, the rabbi of rabbi, the Shua HaNotzri, remember the parable he gave when he said, who is his neighbor? Well, who is my neighbor? Right? And he gave the parable about the man who was going on a trial to Jerusalem, and he got beat up by robbers, and the rabbi, the Pharisee, the Levite, everybody crossed over, but the Samaritan came along, and helped him out, paid for his medical bills to explain. But that gave an example of this man was on pilgrimage, right? And he got beat up on the way of pilgrimage, you know what I mean? So therefore, the psalm here also applies and can be applied to the dangers of travel, especially travel that was incurred in the pilgrimage or any of the 3 times in a year when the men of Israel, the males of Israel, were required to appear for that appointment, right? Whether it was in the Passover time, the harvest time, or the ingathering time in the 7th month, the 7th moon at the end of the year. So from the time of setting out on the journey, right? That's the going out, right? And that coming in. So ones and ones on pilgrimage would try and would chant this. This would give good hope and good expectation that yes, we left our homes and may we return to our homes as well, because Yahweh, right? Yishmar Eitekau Boeka Me Ata wa Ad Olam. So right here from this time forward, Me Ata, from right now, right? We're odd going on, olam, to time out of mind, to time indefinite. And here we have this from Psalm 115, right? In Psalm 115, right? Where we have this right here. Psalm 115 was this verse 18, right? However, we will bless Yahweh from this time forth and forever. In Psalm 115, we have this, Wanachnu Nibarek. We will bless. I and I will bless. Nibarek. Wanachnu Nibarek. Yah. That psalm here. Let's do this right here. Let's just bring this. Let's do this right here. Let's bring it around so you can see this right here. Let's go back to 115 so you can see where we're at right here. This is the verse right here. This is not the psalm, but this is the language. The language of it right here is derived from this here, and this is a good way to seal this off right here, right? The from this time forth, that phrase, from this time forth and forevermore, here it occurred before 121, it occurred in 115. Here we go. Anachnu, and we ourselves, I and I. Wanachnu nivarek. Nibarek, Nibarek, we will bless. Wanachnu Nibarek Yah. So the Lord here is Yah, the Savior of Israel. May Ata, from now, from this time, We'ad, going on, Olam, till time out of mind. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So right here, today's daily psalm, we have Psalm 121, the Ivrit, the Hebrew here. Check it.
מזמור קכ"א שיר למעלות. אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמים וארץ. אל ייתן למות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם.
Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore, 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 forevermore.
מזמור קכ"א שיר למעלות. אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמים וארץ. אל ייתן למות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם.
Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore, 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 forevermore.
Yes, 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 yes. Just a little bit of the midrash right here. Just went through a plain interpretation of the psalm right here, but local midrash.
Here, Midrash,
Oh,
Shema Yisrael, Midrash,
121.
today's Psalm, Mizmor Kof Kaf Aleph, Psalm 121, Mizmor Kof Kaf Aleph, a song of ascents. I will lift up mine eyes to the mountains. From whence shall my help come? My help cometh from the Lord. Can you hear the Aleph verse, the first verse? Shir La Ma'ilot. Esa Ainai Illa Harim. Me'ayina Yabo Ezri. A song to ascents. A song to ascents. Shir La Ma'ilot. Shir La Ma'ilot. A song to ascents. I will lift up mine eyes to the mountains. Esa Ainai Il Harim. Esa Ainai Il Harim. I will lift up mine eyes. Esa Ainai to the mountains. Il Harim. From whence shall my help come? Me'ayin Yabo Ezri. Me'ayin Yabo Ezri. Ezri Me'aim Yahuwah. Ezri Me'aim Yahuwah. My help, Ezri Me'aim. From Yahuwah. From with. Me'aim Yahuwah. From with. My help cometh from he who be. My help cometh from Jehovah. Here. Mizmor Kof Kaf Aleph. Here the first verse and the first part of the bait, the second verse. Shir La Ma'ilot. Esa Ainai Il Harim. Me'ayina Yabo Ezri. Ezri Me'aim Yahuwah. Ezri Me'aim Yahuwah. David said, a song to ascents, to the aliyah, to the ascension, to ascents, towards ascension. Shir La Ma'ilot. Shir, song. La, for, to, Ma'ilot, La Ma'ilot, Shir La Ma'ilot. David said, a song to ascents, Shir La Ma'ilot. After thou hast taken I and I, up the last ascent, we, I and I, shall not be brought down. That is to say, after Ha'el, the Almighty, Ha'elohim, Ha'elohim, saves I and I, from the kingdom of Esau, from the kingdom of Esau, we, I and I, shall not again be degraded in servitude to the kingdoms, as is said even in Obadiah chapter 1, verse 21. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Here, Obadiah, Abdiyu, prophet Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 21. And saviors shall come up on Mount Zion to judge the mount of Esau, and the kingdom shall be the Lord's. Here, Obadiah, the Chazon, Obadiah, the vision of Obadiah here, first chapter, verse 21. Ve'alu Moshaim behar Zion, lishpot et har Esau, ve'haita la Yahuwah, Hamluka, and saviors shall come up, shall aliyah up, shall ascend. Ve'alu, Moshaim, and saviors, Moshaim, shall come up, shall ascend up. Behar, on Mount Zion. Ve'alu Moshaim behar Zion, to judge, lishpot, to judge the mount of Esau, lishpota et tahar Esau, and the kingdom shall be Yahweh, and the kingdom shall be Jehovah's. Vehaita la Yahweh hamaluka, Haita la Yahuwah Hamluka. Alua Moshaima Behar Zion. Lishpot Etahar Aisau. Haita la Yahuwah Hamluka. The Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel, said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to the Holy One, blessed be He. To Thee, I and I shall sing a song of the last ascent. To Thee, I and I shall sing a song of the last ascent, whereto Thou, the I, wilt raise I and I, will raise us from among the kingdoms. Hence, here it is said, a song to ascents. Shir la ma'ilot, Shir la ma'ilot. I will lift up mine eyes to the mountain. Esa ainai ilahe harim me'ayin yabo ezri me'im Yahuwah. What is meant by to the mountains? What is meant by il he harim, to the harim, to the mountains? It means that on the day when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, the set apart, the sanctified, the Ayla One, Baruch Hu, blessed be He, comes to judge mankind, comes to judge humanity, the Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel will look to the fathers, will look to the patriarchs to plead for them. But no father will be able to save Beno, his son, and no man will be able to save Achio, his brother. In their time of distress, on the day of judgment, the Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel, the children of Israel, the Israelites will lift up their eyes to their Father in heaven and say, even in the words of Isaiah chapter 63, verse 16, for Thou art our Father, for Abraham knoweth us not, and Israel doth not acknowledge us. Thou, O Lord, art our Father, our Redeemer. From everlasting is Thy name. Ki ata avinu, ki Avraham lo yeda'anu, Yisrael lo yakiranu. Ata Yahuwah avinu, go eleinu, me olam shemeka. For Thou, the I, art our Father. Ki ata abinu. Ki ata abinu. For the I, ki ata abinu. Abinu. Our Father, Abuna. Abinu. I and I, Father. Ki Avraham lo yeda'anu. Ki, for Avraham, Abraham, lo yeda'anu. Lo yeda'anu. Knoweth us, knoweth I and I not. Lo yeda'anu. Yisrael lo yakiranu. And Israel, Yisrael lo doth not yakiranu, acknowledge us. Ata Yahuwah abinu, Thou the I, He who be, who He be, abinu, I and I, Father, our Father. Go eleinu ame olama shemeka, our Redeemer. Go eleinu. Go Eleinu, our Redeemer. Me olam, from forever, from the world, from everlasting. Me olam shemeka, from eternal is Thy name, shemeka. Ki ata avinu, ki Avraham loa yeda'anu, Yisrael loa yakiranu. Ata Yahuwah abinu, go Eleinu me olama shemeka. And here, Midrash note, here on what is meant by il heharim, il to heharim, to the mountains. It means that on the day when HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, the Ayla One, blessed be He, comes to judge mankind, the Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel, will look to the fathers. Will look to the fathers. Here, Midrash note on today's Mizmor Kof Kaf Aleph, fathers, known as the mountains. The fathers, known as the mountains. The patriarchs, known as the mountains because of the resemblance between Harim in the Hebrew, mountains, Harim, and Horim. Horim in the Hebrew is begetters or teachers. So here, Midrash note, the Bnei Yisrael, the sons of Israel, will look to the fathers to plead for them,
to the fathers. So known as the mountains, the patriarchs, the fathers, because of the resemblance Hebraically between mountains in the Hebrew, harim, har, mountain, harim, mountains, and horim, horim, begetters, horim, teachers. My help cometh from Jehovah, who made heaven and earth. Here, the bait verse. The second verse of today's psalm, Psalm 121, Mizmor Kof Kaf Aleph. Ezri Yamei Ya'im Yahuwah, Oseh Shemayim Wa'aretz. My help, Ezri, my help, Me'im Yahuwah, from with he who be who he be. Ezri Me'im Yahuwah, translated as my help cometh from Jehovah, from he who be who he be. Ezri Me'im Yahuwah, Oseh Shemayim Wa'aretz. Who made, Oseh, the maker, Shamayim, the heavens, Wa and Aretz, and the earth. Oseh, Shamayim, Wa Aretz. Ezri Me'im Yahuwah, Oseh Shamayim, Wa Aretz. Hakadosh, Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, said this to Yisrael, to Israel. Do you know who will help you? He who made the heavens and earth. He who made heavens and earth. Oseh Shemayim Wa'aretz. Oseh Shemayim Wa'aretz. Al yitain alamot ragleka. He will not suffer thy foot to slip. Al yitain lamot ragleka. He will not suffer thy foot to slip. What is meant by al yitain lamot ragleka? What is meant by he will not suffer, will not give? Al yitain, he will not give lamot, to slip, ragleka, the eye, foot. Al yitain lamot ragleka. When all men are in danger of slipping into Gehenna, Hebrew hell, Gehenna, you will not slip. Similarly, the verse, even from Devarim, from Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35, that reads, to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35, to me, to I belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. Li nakama we shilem, le'aita tamut raglam. Vengeance is mine. Li nakam, for me, nakam, vengeance. Li nakam we shilem, and recompense and payment with shilem. Li nakama with shilem. Vengeance is mine and recompense. Le'aita tamuta raglam. Against the time when their foot shall slip. Le'ait, for the time, tamut, to slip, raglam, their foot. Li nakama wishilem, le'aita tamut raglam. To me belongeth vengeance and recompense and payment. Their foot shall slide in due time. Li nakam wishilem, le'aita tamut raglam. This means that when the foot of the wicked, of the ratchet, of the wicked slides, you will not slide. For it is said even in 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 9, he will keep the feet of his holy ones. Here, 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 9, he will keep the feet of his holy ones, of his Isla ones. Ragleya Hasidayo. Ragle Hasidayo Yishmor. Ragleya Hasidayo Yishmor. He will keep the feet. He will keep the feet of his Hasidim, Hasidayo. Hasidayo, of his holy ones. Ragleya Hasidayo Yishmor. Hence it is written even in Psalm 66 verse 8, hence it is written, O bless our God, ye people. O bless our power, our God,
ye y'all peoples. Barku Amim Eloheinu, bless I power, ye y'all peoples. Barku, bless y'all Amim, ye peoples. Eloheinu, I power. Barku Amim Eloheinu. For what reason are you to bless Ha'el, Hailahim, the power, the true good, the true God? Because, as the next verse says, He hath set our soul in life, and suffered not our foot to slip. For what reason are you to bless Ha'el, Hail, the power, the true good, the true God, the Almighty I? Because, as the next verse says, He hath set our soul in life, and suffered not our foot to slip. And here, the next verse of Mizmor Samech Wow, Samech Vav, Samech Wow, Psalm 66. Here, Hebraically, the 9th verse. Hasam nafshenu ba chayim, ve'lo natana lamota ragleinu. Who hath set our soul in life. Hasam nafshenu ba chayim, and suffered not our foot to be moved. Ve'lo natan lamot ragleinu. Why are we to bless our power, our true good, true God? Barku Amim Eloheinu. Because the next verse of Mizmor Samech Wow 66 reads, Hasam nafshenu ba chayim. He who be, have set our soul in life. Hasam nafshenu ba chayim, and suffered not, and not given. Ve'lo natan lamot, to be moved, to slip. Ragleinu, I foot, I feet. He have set our soul in life and liberty, and suffered not our foot to slip. Hasam nafshenu b'chayim, ve'lo natan lamot ragleinu.
Come be a part of.
Alright, LOJ, and Line of Jew Society.
Where Hebrew feels like home.
Psalm 121.
מזמור קכ"א שיר למעלות.
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help.
אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי.
My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth.
עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמים וארץ.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
אל ייתן למות רגליך.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber.
אל ינום שומרך.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep.
הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל.
The Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil, he shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore.
מזמור קכ"א שיר למעלות. אשא עיניי אל ההרים, מאין יבוא עזרי. עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמים וארץ. אל ייתן למות רגליך, אל ינום שומרך. הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל. אדוני שומרך, אדוני צילך על יד ימינך. יומם השמש לא יככה, וירח בלילה. אדוני ישמורך מכל רע, ישמור את נפשך. אדוני ישמור צאתך ובואך, מעתה ועד עולם.
Psalm 121.
מזמור קכ"א, שיר למעלות, 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 למעלות.
I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. My help.
אשא עיניי אל ההרים, אל ההרים, אל ההרים. מאין יבוא עזרי, 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 עזרי.
My help cometh from the Lord, which made heaven and earth.
עזרי מעם אדוני, עושה שמים וארץ.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
אל ייתן למות רגליך, 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 רגליך.
He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Slumber, slumber.
אל ינום שומרך, שומרך, שומרך.
Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep, nor sleep, nor sleep, nor sleep.
הנה לא ינום ולא יישן, שומר ישראל, 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 ישראל.
The Lord is thy keeper, the Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil, he shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in, from this time forth, and even forevermore, 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 forevermore.
Ve'imru amen. And say y'all amen. Yes, I, yes, I. Yahuwah Yishmar. Tzeitzkem uboekem me'ata wa'ad olam. Here, just turning up the verse for it's of you, male, singular, but y'all. Yahuwah Yishmar, he who be, keep. And say tekem, you're going out, uboekem, you're coming in, me'ata, from now, present time, with ad olam. Yes, I, Rastafari, Yeshua Shalom, Chaverim, Chaverim. Shavua Tov, yes, I.
Come be a part of.
All right, I'm AJ. You want to do society?
Where Hebrew feels like home.